We are going to get started pretty soon here today. We're going to be talking about resume reviews for product managers and general questions, Q&A for product management, business, tech, startups, anything like that. Today, the session is primarily going to be about actually reviewing live resumes. We've got a lot of folks on the call already. That's awesome. Thank you very much for your patience. Let me just cut my own volume here. So hopefully you can hear me okay. Usually we have a lot of technical difficulties at this time of the show. So I'm just going to warn you that probably that's going to happen again, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. So before we get started, I want to make sure that I can see a lot of folks in the staging area. Thank you so much. We're going to try to get to all of you. We're going to go a little bit faster, and it will help me if you're prepared. So make sure your resume is set up and ready to share. Make sure your camera is working, your microphone is working, and you get your headphones or headset on. Unfortunately, my headphones are not working, so I'm going to be trying to run you through speakers. Hopefully, it's going to be okay. A little sip of coffee just to get started and showcase my awesome morning brew mug. All right, so the other thing is I want to make sure that we've got our live viewers. It looks like, let me just switch over to public chat. All right, it looks like we're good to go there. So just to make sure that everything's working properly, can all of you folks that are in the staging area and also the folks that are watching kindly just hit the like button for me, just to make sure that the stream is working. I mean, that's how I can tell that it's functioning properly. If we can see those numbers go up, that means everything's working properly. There's really no better way for me to tell that the stream is in fact working. And then we're going to get started. All right, we're going to go from my folks in the staging area. We're going to go left to right. So we're going to start from Pooja. Pooja, you're first on my list. So hopefully you're ready to go. If you make sure that everything's working, we're going to start in just a moment. Hello, everybody in chat. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be doing this every Saturday for the next couple of Saturdays, at least, while I have strength in me, while there's coffee, and while you're finding this useful. So if I don't get to you this time, I apologize. We've got a lot of folks in the queue, but I hope we can. And if not, you can always join us next time. Sergey, good morning. Dienster, Bavish, hello. Thank you for coming. Thanks for joining us. Okay, Pooja, let me try to bring you into the show here. Hopefully it's going to work. Usually our first one doesn't, but Pooja, can you hear me? Okay, let me see. Let me unmute you. Okay, let's see if we can hear you.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I cannot hear you. Unfortunately, I cannot hear you.
Now, can you hear me?
Let's see if folks in chat, can you hear Pooja? Pooja, say hello again.
Hi, guys.
I can see you, but I cannot hear you. So I don't think it's working. So we'll give you a moment to figure out your audio, and we're gonna have someone else hop on for now. Yuki, how about you? Is your headset working by any chance? Let me try to bring you in. Oh, thank you, Ashe. Thank you so much. Let me just go ahead and showcase this comment. That's very sweet of you. Please make small videos. Videos are too long. So Ashe, yes, the long videos that you're watching are probably these resume review sessions. Those are our live sessions. So they tend to be longer. They're like an hour and a half or 2 hours, depending on how much energy I have. But usually my videos are like 5, 8, 10, 12 minutes long. But yes, I hear you. Message received. We're definitely, we're going to try to keep it short. Nobody has any attention these days, present company included. I certainly don't, so I understand. So Karen and Sagar, that's funny and sad that actually it sounds like you can hear her, but I cannot. So I don't know why that is. Yeah, my audio is working, so that is really bizarre. Pooja, I don't know why that is. Maybe you can figure out in the settings something, but I can't hear you, unfortunately. So Edmund, can we try to bring you on here? You're next on my list. And Pooja, we'll try to come back to you. So hopefully if you can try to mess around with the settings and see if it gives you any other options. And Edmund, give me a nod if you're ready to come into the stream here. You're good to go. I like those thumbs up. All right, let me try to bring you on. Hopefully it's going to work again. I don't know if it's the settings. Hello, Edmund.
Hey, how's it going? You guys hear me?
I can't hear you. Okay, it's clearly on my end. I don't know what it is. Let me try a headset here. I don't know why that is, folks.
Check 1, 2,
okay.
3.
Check, Edmund. No.
I can hear you.
I don't know why that is. I really have no idea.
Ooh.
You can certainly say hello to the folks on the stream. I think they'll appreciate it, but I can't. Unfortunately, I can't hear you.
That's
Let me
unfortunate.
switch.
Yeah, looks like some people can hear me on the stream. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear it, but I can't hear you. So Edmund, see if you can also try to in the settings there on the top right above your camera. See if you can mess around with those settings. Maybe try headphones or headset. Sometimes that worked. I don't know if that will do the trick. We'll try to we'll see if we can get other folks in here, and we'll see if we can actually get it working today.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, Arvind. Yes, our videos. So Edmund, we'll come back to you.
Yep.
Arvind, thank you. Videos are amazing. Went back and viewed almost all. That is awesome. As you can see, the live stream, we have some technical difficulties. I was going to recommend this platform, the Be Live platform, but honestly, we've been having problems pretty much every time. So, Kush, let me try to bring you in. Make sure that your settings. So everybody, there's a little settings button above your screen. So hit that. Make sure that you've got your microphone actually selected. But again, given the fact that the audience actually hears you and I don't actually know what it could be. So let's try it, Kush. Let's try to bring you in.
Yeah.
It's so quiet. Okay. All right.
Can you hear me?
Let me see if I can mess around with my settings here. Hang on. Meanwhile, Kush, please introduce yourself. Maybe at least I'll get to hear it when I'm watching the video later. And meanwhile, I'll figure out what's going on. So
Sure,
usually
sure.
what I say is let us know a little bit about yourself and what you're looking for. You probably have to repeat it as I try to figure this thing out.
So I'm from India and I've done my BTech back in undergraduate in India. And after that, I worked in.
I hear something.
Okay, let me wait.
Because I don't know. I definitely hear something, but I can't.
Can you hear me now?
That's okay. I think someone was able to get their video. So, Kush, let me try to come back to you.
Okay,
So
sure.
you know what it is, actually? Let me see. There's a lot of you folks in here, but for some reason, I can't get the audio to work. All right. Who wants to try their hand and get their audio to work? Let's try. And what was I hearing? I mean, these are all mysterious questions that we have to ask for the Be Live team. So let's do this. Let me first stop sharing your screen, everybody that's sharing your screen. We're going to troubleshoot this on the air. And then what we're going to do is we're going to send this to the Be Live team like good product managers and tell them that their product is not functioning as intended. Actually, you know what? Why don't we actually, everybody that's in staging right now, if you could mute yourself. Mute yourself, everybody. Yes, Arvind had a suggestion of what about trying StreamYard next time? Yes, this is going to be a pretty sensational fail, unfortunately, on the Be Live side, and we will definitely try StreamYard next time because I think this is just about enough for me. Okay, so everybody cut their mics, and now let me just make sure everybody's mics are cut. Okay, and now we're gonna try again. Now everybody turn on your mics. Turn on your mics. I want to see if I can hear you. And I think it also might be, maybe it's just too many people trying to access it at one time for Be Live's purposes. Let me do this. Let's do this, folks. Let me try, Edmund, let me try to bring you in here. Put you on back on the spot. Okay, Edmund, so say something and let's check your mic.
Check. 1, 2, 3. How's it going?
No. But again, I do hear something. All right.
All right. Never
Well,
give
folks,
up
this
hope.
is exciting, huh? This is exciting. Edmund, what do you think? Can we maybe communicate via sign language here? Or
Yes.
you know what we can do?
Yes.
What we can do? Just why don't we do this? We can actually look at these resumes because you can just share your screen and I can see your resume, and we can do a one-way comment on it, which is incidentally the way that all resumes are reviewed by hiring managers and recruiters. So, so at least that'll be very, very realistic. Let me do this. Let me try to bring more folks on, and we're going to see if we can get something working. So, Josh, I'm going to bring you in. We're all going to be together here. Yep, can't hear you also, but say hello to everybody.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
So,
Yeah.
what, Josh? You're like, I can hear you.
Oh, great.
I can hear you, Edmund. So you know what this
Hey.
means? This means that it can work. Although, folks, we are going to be switching to StreamYard, and I'm going to be writing some words to be live anyway. But Edmund, see if you can do whatever magic, John, you did, and we'll get you back. By the way, John, what did you do to get the mic to work?
I just have my audio settings set to both headphones. So I don't know if it's routing. If you're using Mac or PC, it's just having trouble finding the microphones.
Interesting. So both. Oh, because you got a headset, and it's
I
all
have a headset. Yep.
it's all in one. Okay, so actually that's interesting. Chat, any other thoughts of what it could be? I mean, I'd love to hear some technical solutions to what actually happened. I think that's what it is. If you have a headset and your mic and headphones are the same thing, then you can participate in this conversation. Interestingly, I don't. I only have a mic, and that's maybe why I can't hear you. So that's my theory. But I think every time we do these sessions, we have technical problems, and they're always a little bit different. I think this one's the most exceptional so far. So, John, having said that, let's get started. Tell me a few words about yourself and what you're looking to get out of the conversation and what you're looking for in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am currently technical marketing manager at a small business software company, and we have a association management software. And so what we do is take on large associations and onboard them, migrate their site, and then do all their marketing and handle their memberships and events. And so I've been doing about product management role for roughly 2 years, aspects of it. And so I want to move full-time into that, just move from the responsibilities to the actual title. So
Yeah. Now, just so I understand fully what's actually happening, associations, you mean essentially groups, large groups, or specific segments?
So law associations, so like state level bar associations and CPA associations mostly. Gotcha.
Okay. And you want to get into product management in tech?
Yeah, I would like to stay in the B2B software. So in that space, I feel comfortable in that, but software.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. So let's take it. If you have your resume, we can actually take a look at it. You share your screen.
Yep. Getting it going.
Meanwhile, folks, thank you for dropping those likes, even though this stuff has not been working at all, but I really do appreciate it. And that tells me at least the viewers can see us and hear us. So that is awesome. All the folks in staging area. So it looks like you're going to need a headset of some kind, basically, to get this working. So hopefully you have something like that you can plug in, and then we'll bring you in. Okay, John, I see your screen show up here. Let me put it on the screen. Just a moment. Okay. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so help organization team reach their full potential, their efficient data-driven process. So generally, I'm an opponent of summaries and things up top. This happens to be probably the shortest one that I've seen. I mean, you almost got it into one line. So I'm almost thinking about giving you a pass on that one because that's really not bad. But in general, though, it's much better to show whatever it is you want to say inside the line item of the actual resume. So
cool.
Let's see what's actually in the resume, but most likely, even though this is the shortest I've seen, probably it'll still be better to put it in some way inside the actual line items. Also, for everybody else, if you come and want to chat with me about resumes, make sure you watch the rest of the videos on this channel talking about resumes specifically. I should have some sort of a link to like the pertinent. Actually, there's a playlist about resumes, so make sure to check that one out, because there's a lot of the stuff that we the common things that we go through are definitely covered there. And I want you to make sure that you're caught up on that so that we can kind of get to the most customized aspects of your resume that we can discuss. Also, last time I asked everyone to subscribe if you're watching the videos, if you're on the channel, because we had 55% of the folks that are watching that are not subscribed. So I'm glad we got that down to 51%. That is phenomenal. But I would encourage you, if you like this type of content, you want to learn about product management, business, make sure to subscribe so that you know all the content that's coming up. All right, John, let's keep going.
All right.
So technical marketing manager, let's now understand what's happening. So 2 years, September 2018 to present. So usually what I do is, I don't know if you've seen the other videos, but I like to scan through it real quick just to give you a sense of what a recruiter might look for or during that 7 to 10 second review. And then we'll go a little bit more in depth. So let me just scan through this. Just looking at the top block, as I'll read through this, here's how I'm going to process it. Launch some products, agile, increase revenue 25%. How? With event sales member recruitment, okay, and cut costs by $60,000 per year. Manage subscription feature. I couldn't quite understand that. And managed a team. That's good. Responsible for, I generally just skip through. So what I look for usually are numbers or something that I can kind of grab onto as I scan the page. Because as I'm reviewing these resumes, usually I'm not going to read them. I've said this before, I'm not going to read them all the way through. So I'm just going to be scanning from interesting point to interesting point. So I see 10% increase, I see 50% increase. Let me just cut myself from here. Onboarding, and then skills, 90% reduction. So I'm not seeing too much stuff. I see a little bit of cost cutting. I see a little bit of team management, but I don't see too much stuff that jumps at me for product management specifically. And also, if you're going, you want to go for B2B, I do have a little signal of that, but not too strong. So just first impressions are there's not enough stuff there that is product management related, because just like anybody else that's hiring for a position, if I'm hiring for a product manager, I need a product manager. Number one, I'm going to be looking for stuff that you've done that is in the product management realm. Ideally, you are already a product manager. If you're not, then you've done things that a product manager did and had the impact that usually product managers have. And so, and if I'm looking for a specific one like B2B, then I will look for that experience level where you've done that type of work, you've worked on these type of projects, and then that's what I'm looking for on my first scroll through. So when you are putting this together, by the way, I like that it's clean, the aesthetics I think are great. I think maybe a little bit too much effort on the skills part, but we can actually go through it a little bit longer. I like, obviously, that's one page. I like the bullets. It's concise, but we need more product management specific stuff, and we need more focal points. So I would use bold here to identify like the key areas that you want to actually point out. So let's look at a little bit more detail. We'll just go through the top, and then maybe you can apply the things that we talk about to the rest of it, and then come back and we'll do another review. So let's quickly look here. Whenever you're crafting these bullets, make sure you understand the story you're trying to tell. Put yourself in the shoes of that hiring manager or recruiter and think about, okay, what are they actually looking for? If they're looking for a product manager, what am I trying to say with like this line or set of lines with this position? Am I trying to say that as a product manager, I would be able to bring teams together, or I'd be able to generate sales, or I'd be able to cut costs, or I'd be able to just execute? What am I actually trying to do? Like, think strategically. What am I trying to demonstrate? So usually we start off I like that your latest job has the most bullet points. Usually as we go backwards chronologically, we want to have less and less bullet points and really summarize the takeaways. But you also want to lead with your most powerful. So let's see if you did that. Launch several products and software features through full agile lifecycle. So including email automation, tool member communication. So for instance, that's a little bit extra, right? Like if you're trying to demonstrate you are versed in agile development, that's awesome. You could just say that basically. You don't need to add the email automation, member communication software, because it doesn't really mean much specifically when you're thinking about like a general product manager. You want to just the powerful stuff, right? So launching of products, sort of end-to-end development, agile. I think that's powerful. You can demonstrate that you've done that. Serving as the product manager, setting the vision. So that's good. Let's try to get that. Maybe a little bit more front and center. I do like that you reference basically, look, I'm the product manager, the end-to-end. So I think end-to-end is a powerful way to communicate product ownership.
Yeah.
And I do like the fact that you said basically serving as the product manager. If you can do that shorter, that would be even better. Like if that could be one line. And I think that's strong. Increased revenue, 25% year over year. Year over year, you could just say why or why. That's pretty common. I fall on the fence about acronyms, but like that's a pretty common one. You can save space with that. Through increase event sales and member recruitment. So I don't know exactly what that means. See if you can get more specific about it. Like, what did you actually do to increase 25% recurring? Like, is this ARR, like recurring revenue? You could also say just 25% ARR because it's B2B, so presumably it's recurring. But what did you actually do? See if you can get a little bit closer, because that feels a little bit cyclical to me, as in I increased it by increasing sales. Like I increased sales by increasing sales. Try to get specific. What did you do? Is there a particular product or project that launched that was the impetus to this thing happening?
Mm.
See if you can get specific. I think that's strong. I think you got the right idea. You're saying I launched products end to end and I increased sales. That's great. So there's like execution, impact. I think that's good. Delivered an email feature. See, again, increasing marketing productivity for clients, cutting costs by $60,000 a year. I wonder how this cut costs. Is this did it cut costs because like your people became more productive, or what happened there?
Yeah. So clients and internally, they were saying, we're just wasting too much time. We're going to have to hire a email person. And that was roughly about $60,000 a year. And I was like, no, let's automate this. Let's build a feature for you. So essentially, this is for the first year. It's already to that long.
So that's, just call that, automation, right? Like
okay.
Various automation. You don't have to necessarily get specific. Get specific about the thing that basically cut the costs. And that sounds like that was automation. Internal, that was also transferable to external maybe. So see if you phrase that a little bit clearer. Don't worry about the actual what of the thing. I mean, you can say email automation, you can say task automation, but effectively, you pitch this, you design this, whatever it is, whatever role you have there, that's great. So that's savings. Any savings is good. And I think that's powerful product management impact. Again, implementation of subscription feature for clients, cutting membership drop off year. So I don't exactly understand how you were able to cut drop offs. You basically churn 75%. I'm not sure. See if you can identify how you actually did it. Well, what would happen? Maybe you could just walk me through it real quick.
Sure. Yeah. So when we onboard clients, a lot of times they are very paper forward. So this was essentially moving them towards a like more Netflix-y subscription feature, and it was a dramatic drop-off rate for almost every client within the first year of implementing it. And so instead of losing thousands of people, they were losing hundreds of people a year.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So see if you can figure out a way to actually say that, maybe identify the thing that brought 80% of that reduction in churn, essentially.
Gotcha.
I think that's also strong. Motivated and managed. I think that's good. So you're basically leading a cross-functional team. You can actually say cross-functional team. That's one of those words that I think is relevant here and also powerful, because the product managers end up doing that a lot of the time. They lead these cross-functional teams. And that last one, it's sort of there's a lot of there's not a lot of specificity around it. So anytime you have like things you're responsible for, you basically can just omit it and think, okay, what am I trying to say here? I don't really know. Then just remove it. It's okay. It doesn't, you don't have to have a lot of bullets. I think your bullets are actually, interestingly here, my first glance kind of failed me on this one. And it does happen because I do like basically a lot of your stuff. Now, it does need to pop out more because it's not just, of course, it's not just the full read through that you're trying to target. You're trying to target folks that are just scanning it through. So
Yeah.
let's see if you can take that. I'm assuming that the second and third are equally strong. I would say cut down on the skills. You don't need to fill up. Basically, if you're trying to figure out a way to fill up the page, I wouldn't worry about it. You could just add a little spaces here and there. And skills, leave the ones that are actually relevant. So just take a hard look at it. I have some videos talking about like skills that are important for product managers. Take a look at those, from the tech stack and soft skills, whatever it is. Really leave the impactful ones, and then make sure it pops, whatever the story you're trying to tell, it pops a little bit more so that I can actually go on to the next stage after like scanning the resume.
Yeah. I've had quite a few iterations. I had
I'm sure.
My previous experience bulleted it out with 1 or 2 bullets for each one, and ATS wasn't picking up very well on it. So
I see.
the reason I have that out there is that, and I change those based on the product. I'll copy and paste keywords and make it fit to the description, because I think I've tried to put the most impactful, like kind of what you were saying on your past videos, is like most impactful bullets, and then put the skills, because I for a marketing manager, like I don't think a lot of marketing people I have come across don't mess around, spend 2 hours a day in database stuff and like
Yes. Okay.
deal with ROI. So I have a
Good.
weird set of skills that
That's
don't
great.
belong to tech marketing.
For sure. Leverage that. No, that's prudent. I see what you're saying. Yep. I didn't think about the fact that, of course, coming in from marketing is sort of focused on the product management aspect. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So leverage that, because you're trying to demonstrate that, like, ordinarily, maybe you wouldn't have these type of skills, but this is why it's another good reason for an overlap. So,
Sorry about that.
that's
Dog.
okay. That's all right. So I think that resume looks pretty good. I was going to say that I'm putting together this thing where I want to walk some folks through, basically from like resume review to interview prep to recruiter contact and all this stuff. And I want to see if I can turn it into a show that might be interesting to watch as well. So I'm thinking what I'm thinking of doing is we're going to get a few PMs in like big companies, and we will remove all of the personal information from the resumes. We'll remove actually names of universities and names of companies, and we'll just leave the text. And it'll be like a draft, like the NFL draft. You can look at the resumes and draft the people that you want to take on, and there'll be points. Like, that's how I'm thinking of doing it. So when I look at your resume, I'm thinking like, wait a minute, that's something that maybe if I had only 10 seconds, maybe we'll give them 10 seconds. Like round 1 will be just like 10 seconds. You look through and you have to make a choice who moves on. Chat, let me know if that sounds interesting, by the way. I've been thinking a lot about that. But this is an interesting situation where I definitely want to see you tighten that up. I'd bold the impact and come back, email to me, and also just let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's happening with you. Any other questions before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, I think we get a lot of my questions, so that's great.
Awesome.
I know that you typically avoid I forget what they call it.
The headline.
I turned it into like a more of a mission statement, like of a personal brand.
I saw that.
It's stylized. It kind of pops out. I don't know if it works, and it's not conventional. I know a lot of people are like, no, get rid of that, but I think it is.
Honestly, my first glance, I'm gonna contradict myself. I kind of liked it. That's what I said, right? Get it to one line though.
Okay. Yeah.
Just meet me halfway there. I think that's fine. Like if that is honestly your mission statement, and when you're in interviews or when you're in discussions, you can actually lean on that, and that's what you're thinking about. I actually do like that, because I'm a big believer in vision and mission statements. It really makes a difference when orienting teams and really yourself around anything. So see how that is. That did not really That did
across.
not really give me big bad vibes, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, that might work. I'm going to contradict all those times that I've said get rid of your mission statement, but
Yeah.
most of the time, like 99% of the time, it's
It
really
doesn't work.
really bad
Yeah.
stuff, and it just doesn't work. So if you can pull it off, yeah, definitely let me know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I like
Awesome.
it. All right,
Thank
John,
you.
thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Take
See
care.
ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay, folks, let's see if we can get someone else with headphones on. Who has headphones on? Can you raise your hands? I can't really tell if we're able to get folks to get headsets. Oh, Kush. Okay, I see you. So let me go through questions in chat and make sure that we're getting that. Hi, Zara. It's good to see you. Sorry, I missed that message earlier on. And Nikhil, yeah, kind of like a Shark Tank version. Yeah, we're thinking about different ways of how to approach it, but those are some of the things that we're thinking about. Okay, Kush, let me try to bring you on here, and hopefully your headset will work. I'm gonna unmute you. Kush, say hello. Let's see if we can hear you. Nope, still can't hear you. That's another advertisement potential for StreamYard.
Can
So
you hear
I
me
think see if your headset and your microphone are both in the same, or headphones and microphone are both set to the same thing.
now? Yeah,
Miranda,
can you hear me now?
you like the idea of the resume draft show? Okay, awesome. Yeah, definitely make sure to sign up for the newsletter. That's where I'm going to give the most information about when that's coming up and how you can join the show. Kush, we're gonna try to come back to you a little bit later again if you can get your headphones working. I'm sorry, my friend. By the way, anyone that I wasn't able to get to today, please make sure to email me and let me know. Hey, we had technical difficulties today. You couldn't get to me. Please take a look at my resume, and I'll make sure to do that. And when you do that, include like your top 2-3 questions that you have, rather than could you please review my resume? Like tell me here are the questions that I have, and I'm gonna definitely make sure to say that we had technical problems on the stream, so that I know to prioritize it. Between the hundreds of other emails that I've got in there. The realities of prioritization. Edmund, I see you got a headset. I really want to see if we can make it work. I'll bring you on. All right, Edmund.
Hello?
No. All right, you know what?
No.
Our theories are starting to fall apart. We should have asked John if he is indeed on a Mac or a PC, like if that makes a difference.
Test.
Test.
Still no for you, Edmund? I can't hear you, unfortunately. Nope.
Test.
And I still hear it. I don't know what it is. You know, I could
Test.
switch my microphone. Let me see if I can do that. Just a second. Okay, say something now.
Test.
No. Hold on. Audio settings. Watch, I'm gonna break my own feet as I mess around with this. Hang on.
One day.
No, unfortunately not. I apologize, Edmund. Let's see if we can get someone else. Who else we have? Preethi, let me try to bring you on. Gonna join us here and try your luck. This is the show where we try to see if our equipment works. Let me unmute you first. So, Preethi, can you say hello?
You've muted me.
I unmuted you now, so you're back and I can hear you. This is wonderful.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, that's great.
You've won.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, everyone, but thank you, Prithvi. Good to see you. Please introduce yourself and tell us what you're looking to get out of this session.
Yeah, and I am not using my headphone also. It's just
so
a
that
speaker.
That just breaks our assumptions. That happens a lot. And I apologize to all you folks that were running to get the headset. Apparently that's wrong. Now, tell us, Prithvi, we're still figuring this out live, right?
Yep.
You have a Mac or PC?
I have a PC.
Okay. All right. So everybody that has a Mac, I wonder, Kush, do you have a Mac or PC? Oh, you can't answer that, right? So you can maybe answer that for me in chat. Anyway, Prithvi, let me get to you. All the folks that have PCs, it looks like you have a good chance to get on the show today. So we'll continue to troubleshoot this as we go. By the way, it's a very common interview question is, you're a product manager on this product. You come in and know Wednesday morning in particular, and your usage is down 20%. Your daily active usage is down 20%, which is similar to what we're having here. I mean, look, we could have had a lot more likes than we have right now. And by the way, if you haven't already dropped a like, make sure to drop a like for all the technical problems that we're having. And the question is, how do you identify and actually solve the problem? And so here we're actually trying to identify and solve the problem. So if you can identify it, maybe solve it. Actually, if you can write to be live right now, hey, I'm on a live stream right now trying to get in, but the streamer can't hear me. He's a paying streamer and he's thinking about switching to StreamYard. Perhaps you should give us some idea of how we could fix this. So, Preeti, let's get to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So I am a MBA from the University of Washington, Foster School of Business. I have an experience with product management. I was working in the ERP and Salesforce implementation, and then decided to get my MBA. And I interned with Cisco as a product manager this summer, and I'm back into full-time recruiting and looking at companies such as Google and Amazon for my full-time recruiting.
Good stuff. I like it. All right, cool. And you have a resume for us today? I see it already.
Yeah.
Yes, there it is.
Yes, I've shared it.
Screen. Okay, let's take a look. All right. So let me scan it first. Do my 10-second scan because last time it was interesting. Usually it doesn't happen. Usually I pick up some things that are good, and I can kind of decide whether to keep reading the resume or not. And that one, on a deeper reading, ended up being better than a first glance. So let's take a look at this one. So obviously, anytime you got recognizable companies, that's going to be obviously very useful. So I see Microsoft. That's helpful. Whatever. Really, in whatever capacity you are involved with any companies that are recognizable, obviously always very good. So let's keep going. So I get Microsoft, that's good. I see recommendations. I see Mao. Oh, go back up top.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I missed that. Yeah, this is the start. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Cisco was there.
Sorry. So you started with education. Okay, it makes sense. All right,
Yeah.
you're in school now. Winner of something of AI. Okay, that's good. Continue to scan. I'm going to tell you stuff that I pay attention to. So Cisco, that's good. Obviously, also recognizable. Go down a little bit and let's start from Cisco and Microsoft. We'll come back to all this stuff in more detail, but for now, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. So Cisco designed the licensing model, and what happened? 85% customer. Yep, I don't get it. Increase 500 million revenue. That's pretty clear. So develop strategy that increases 500 million revenue by 2024. Okay, we'll see what that means. To your product roadmap, that sounds good. And then at Microsoft, delivered recommendations that would estimate an increase in MAU by 10%. That's interesting. Customer pain points, recommending enhancement, 15%. Led a team of 30 engineers. Okay, that's great. That is great. Design an electronic payment solution and saving over 1 million check fees. Okay, so that's good. I think I see enough stuff in here that let me just cut my video so I can see what's happening here. Let me bring myself back just in case there's no audio. So I see enough in here. I like the fact that there's always measurable impact, and there's leadership of engineers. There's a roadmap management. There is the end-to-end design. So I see a lot of stuff in here that already makes me interested. And obviously, I see also those names. So this would kind of pass the screen test, where if I'm looking through it and I'm looking for the 8 seconds, I'm going to say, okay, yeah, let me give this a closer read. Because it has all the stuff. It has the impact. It has the things that a roadmap that a product manager does or is expected to do, and it has recognizable places and a strong educational background. So I think On that, Prithvi, I think you're already in great shape. I would say now my request would always be to get more concise if you can. So you probably already had a bunch of revisions and iterations
Yep.
like everyone does, which is awesome. And it looks like this is already, I think, in good shape, and already may very well be enough to move on to the actual conversation with the recruiter, or basically to the next stage. But you can always do better by
Definitely. Yeah.
saying less and delivering the same informational value.
Yep.
I would also say up top, let's go back up top to the education. Let's make sure that you got quite a chunk of space for education. So let's make sure that all of that is necessary to the point that you want to drive home. I like that you obviously have engineering, computer science. Now, is that a double major? Is that engineering and computer science, or is that like is bachelor of engineering?
So it's computer science and engineering. Bachelor of engineering is a degree, and computer science is the specialization.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. All right, and I see you've got 2021 School of Business. I would say, first of all, I don't think you need to put a GPA for your school if it was more than 3, 4, 5 years ago. So probably it may not hurt, but it's also I think it's less impactful than some of the more recent. There's a recency bias in general for stuff that you've done recently, and I think that's some of it is justified, some of it is not justified. But you've got to kind of choose where you want that attention to go to. I would say also make sure that those 3 lines underneath the Foster School of Business are, maybe you can make it a little bit shorter so that I'm actually incentivized to read it. I like that it's first place winner. That's great. And I like that it's artificial intelligence, right? It's irrelevant. But you also got Dean's List in there and MBA Endowed Fellow. I'm not sure what that is, but probably a good distinction. But again, some of the experience you've got is actually pretty strong too. And if I'm looking for a product manager, I'm going to lean more towards the experience stuff. So I'm not saying remove that stuff, but think hard about the prioritization of the things that you want to focus on. You can't tell everything that you want to tell to the hiring manager or recruiter.
Yeah.
For the experience, also, let's try to get to the point a little bit faster. Let's try to have less 2-line items and more 1-line item. I can see that you basically got 2-line, 2-line, 2-line. They're all 2-line items, which means it should be a nice mix. It should be mostly 1-line items, a few 2-line items, but mostly 1-line item, I meant. Let me go down a little bit. And so I like the impact. Maybe you can also highlight the impact. This is what might be useful. You've actually got enough impact in here and enough measurable impact that you might not need to actually highlight because it's kind of everywhere, which is what you want to see. Make sure, again, you're clear on the thing you're trying to say with each bullet point. Try not to say 2 things with 1 bullet point.
Okay.
Sometimes you want to say, this is what I did, but also this. Choose the one thing and try to just make that shorter instead. Let's see here. I'll make it a little bit bigger. So obviously I like strategy. The consumption-based licensing models, unfortunately, doesn't really tell me something. It doesn't tell me anything really meaningful unless you're basically saying is it like you use more, you pay more when you use more or something like that. Is that what consumption-based means?
Exactly. Yeah. So one is you have the perpetual licensing model, and then you have the tiered subscription model, and then you have the usage-based licensing model, which is also called consumption licensing model. I think I can change it to usage-based probably, which resonates more with people.
It makes sense. I would have probably figured that out. That's kind of what my takeaway was. But you want to focus on stuff like you're saying. Look, it provides transparent pricing. So maybe focus on that, like the customer research and 85% customer willingness to adopt. I like it because it's kind of like a proxy metric. So it seems like you're only there a short time, and you want to say
exactly
like what's the proxy metric. I do like that actually, but see if you can say that in less words.
Okay.
Because I like it. You basically saying that here's what I did. It's awesome. I don't know how it turned out, but in my analysis, here's the willingness. I do like that, and I think it's cool. People always ask, like, how do I show impact on things that I've worked in for not too long? And I think this is a great example for all the folks that are thinking about the same thing. You basically find this proxy metric. Okay, well, you didn't launch, but did you start building it? Okay, well, you weren't there to even see it executed, but what did your customer research say? I think that's very cool. I like that a lot, Prithvi. 500 million. I also like the 500 million revenue 24. It's a little bit opaque, probably on purpose. Like, is that 500 million in 4 years? Is that 500 million ARR? I'm assuming when it's said like that, usually it means like aggregate. Is that what that means?
Yeah, exactly. It's the total revenue.
Yeah, 500. So you could just say total revenue
Okay.
by 2024. But also here I am telling you to add a word when I actually want you to remove a bunch of words. So don't listen to me. Remove words. It's always better. I like the strategy. I like the roadmap a lot, especially like a roadmap for, I don't know what the AI ops platform is. Integrating storage and networking products to improve platform stickiness. Okay, so you integrated multiple products in order to just basically increase retention of the overall platform, because you basically
Exactly. Yeah.
you bundled it, right?
Yep.
I like it. Say it shorter if you could.
Okay.
And for instance, like the creation of self-service SDK, there's no impact there. Ease development timelines is not quite an impact. See, so that could be its own bullet. I mean, what did it drive meaningful impact? Maybe it could be its own bullet. And if not, then maybe you can omit it from here as well.
Okay.
Just focus on the powerful stuff. I think you have enough for the folks that, that do have, extra educational background and great internships and recognizable names and a lot of impact. There's a lot of stuff for them to choose. And you fall into this camp. So you almost have too much stuff that you could show, but you've still got to highlight the main 5 things. Imagine you are the hiring manager, you've reviewed this resume closely. What are the 3-4 things that you're going to actually remember? Like when you say, usually, how does it go? Like in the real world, for the folks that have experience with hiring, they understand, but here's how it works. In companies, usually it's like, okay, create a job description. What's this person going to be working on? What kind of qualities and skills do you want to see with this person? And you create that. Usually in bigger companies, there's obviously management chains. So you're going to see, okay, so your manager reviews it. Yeah, that sounds good. And then you as the hiring manager are looking for someone. And as you're looking for someone, you're going to come up with a pool of candidates. And then you're going to have a conversation with your manager or the group of folks that are helping you hire. And you're going to say, this candidate is A, B, C, right? You're not going to say 10 things. You're going to give a summary. And the summary is, I think 3 things is going to be a lot. So what are the 3 things? What are the 4 things? What are the 5 things? But if you go to your resume, right now you've got like 10 or 15 strong things there. Make sure that I know, like, I have my 3 or 4 things that I'm gonna definitely be able to say about you. Like my takeaway is, for instance, I like that there's a lot of emphasis on the user, on delivering monetary impact. I like that. I like the educational background, and I like the cloud background, for instance. And there's other aspects as well, but like those are the things that I might focus on. So I think for you, you're looking good. You're looking very good, honestly. I think this is a very impressive resume, and I think you're going to do very well. Now you're going to get to try to get to the next level, get a little bit more concise, get those single lines in there. Email me, let me know how it's shaping up, and let me know how you're doing. I expect to see a pretty high rate of response for you, but that doesn't mean, I'm assuming you're still going to hit the pavement pretty hard, apply everywhere, the companies that you like, and expect to still put in a lot of work in terms of getting past, getting to the phone screen and then from there. So, but overall, I think great job, great work. I'm sure you put a lot of work into obviously all of this and the resume as well. And I think it's going to pay off. Prithvi, any other questions before we go?
No, that'll be all. I think. But one other feedback that we get is mostly when we review the resume with our career management office. Mostly, it's like try to keep it to 2 sentences, and that's why we try to move it to 2 sentences only. It's like
See.
maximize your real estate. Nobody wants to read 20 points if you can put it across as 10 points. So like we need to reach the optimal level of that. Like maybe a few 2 pointers and 1 pointers in there.
Yeah,
I'll
think so.
definitely work on that.
Yeah, let me know. Please keep me updated. I'm
Sure.
sure you're gonna do very well, but I'd love to hear about your journey. So thanks very much for joining us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Yeah, appreciate the help. Thank you.
Okay, folks. Thank you so much for your patience. Let me see if there's any questions in chat. Oh, hopefully, John. It looks like John was on a Mac. All right, so there goes my other theory, huh? Got both the Macs and PCs working, and still we can't get it working for most people. That's very, very, very sad. Rahul, thank you, Alex, for this one-of-a-kind stream. If someone works internal product manager, maybe wants to switch next role as B2B PM, what are the things to showcase on the resume? Thank you, Rahul. I think in terms of showcasing on the resume, if you're going from a product manager to a product manager, if you're going to B2B specifically, you still want to focus general product manager stuff, like the fact that you can organize people, you can lead a product end to end, obviously design, develop, and you can execute, and you're focused on impact, and you can collaborate with others. And the B2B aspect is that you are familiar with what it's like to have businesses as customers, as opposed when you have users as customers, you can kind of do you can put them in user groups, and they usually have certain preferences and specifics. And with businesses, a little bit different because the scope is bigger. Usually, the selling periods are longer. There's a lot more stakeholders, right? With the users, usually one stakeholder, maximum, multiple if you have like different users and customers like kids and parents. But for businesses, there's a ton of stakeholders. There's a lot of specificity. There's organizational hurdles to overcome. So just demonstrate that as much as you can, that the aspects of the work that you've already had overlapped with that. That's usually going to be my recommendation for that. Boris, this is an old colleague of mine. It's very good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming. A very strong product manager and designer as well. So Boris, thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Привет и рад тебя видеть. Nikhil asks, it is recommendable to highlight a particular bullet point to get your interviewer's attention attracted to it. Is it recommendable to highlight a particular bullet point? Oh, yeah. So here's what I do with that. Usually I say, kind of like what we walked through is that first resume, John, I thought it would be powerful if we actually have the ability to demonstrate, like to catch people's attention right away. If you have fewer bullets and fewer pieces of content, you might want to bring your attention. Honestly, I have a ton of stuff on my resume, and I still bold things. I don't bold the whole bullet, but just like the piece that I want to bring attention to, like this much revenue increase or this percentage growth, or whatever it is. That's usually how I do it. Kaching, thank you very much for being with us. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much. All right, folks, let's see if we can get to some more resumes here. Thank you so much again for hitting that like button. Also, I see 40 likes. It feels like we have more technical difficulties and more likes. Thank you very much for the moral support. I really appreciate it. Sabina says, Привет. Привет, Sabina. Will you have live stream mock interviews? It would be very helpful. So we did have one of those. So and I definitely appreciate the person that I was interviewing for their willingness to come on here and actually take a question live. So the difficulty with that is we're going to have to figure out a fun but workable format for the live interviews to work, because it's difficult to do it because there's a lot of thinking involved. And you don't want to think live on the stream. It's almost like having technical difficulties in the stream. It kind of ruins the moment a little bit. So, Sabina, that's the problem with doing interviews on sort of a live stream. But we'll figure out a way to do it. Like we're gonna come up with shows and lots of other stuff. If you guys are interested in it, hit the like button, subscribe, join the newsletter on alexruchevsky.com, and I will let you know, one of the first to know about any upcoming shows or projects. Okay, let me see who we can try to bring on. Edmund, shall we go for number 3? I mean, you are tenacious. I mean, I love your patience. This is amazing. By the way, has anyone had a chance to write to Be Live support and like tell them about the problems that we're having?
Check.
Edmund, say hello.
Hello.
No, I can't hear you.
Hello.
My friend, I apologize. I desperately want to. Oh my God, what are you doing? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Why don't we do this? Put your resume on screen. We'll go through it. I'm going to ask you yes or no questions. You're gonna say yes or no. So I have to encourage this type of tenacity. Okay, so that's good. All right, share your screen. That's what I'm talking about. Honestly, Edmund, I think you've taught us an important lesson, and all the rest of you folks that are hanging on here, despite not being able to actually get audio working, is tenacity works. So Edmund, let me turn your video off. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna look at your resume. I'm gonna make up some stuff, and then you just nod when I get it right, or shake when I get it wrong. Okay, so thank you, aspiring product manager. So I'm gonna guess that you're trying to be a product manager. Also, given the fact that you've just spent 20 minutes trying to get this to work, and this is a product manager resume review session, I put 2 and 2 together, and that's how I got that. All right, so we've got, you're in the university. Yes, you're engineering physics. That's awesome. 2021 Dean's Honor, overall GPA 80%. I've never seen GPA represented as a percentage before. I got to give you points. That's pretty interesting. I don't know exactly what that means. Did you complete 80% of your coursework? Did you finish 80% of your educational program? Or are you like a 3.2 out of 4? I don't know, but it's fascinating. I'll tell you, I've never seen that before. If anyone's seen that before, let me know, because that's just that you've got my attention. I'm sorry, that's just a little minute detail. All right, you've got hackathon awards. This is great. Usually, I really do prefer a format where I can just read top to bottom. I don't like these formats in general. I don't like anything except just I read, because I scan it, and I have my routine and I'm accustomed to it. And, I'm looking at hundreds of these. Having said that, as always, I actually do like the hackathon awards. That's pretty cool. I don't see that very often. And I'm also not, I'm not looking at the picture, like at the resume exactly on my screen. I'm looking at a little bit of minimized screen, so I don't know exactly how I would react, but I do like the hackathon awards. It tells me that you're an engineering focused product manager, just without even reading what this hackathon is about. Just the fact that you're not only involved in so many hackathons, but awards for these hackathons, it makes me think that you're really, really into it. Again, I put that together from the fact that you have 4 of them over there. Now, let's look at your work experience. Tesla, nicely done. Fremont, are you still here in the Bay Area? Just say yes or no.
Oh.
I can't see that. Oh no. Okay. Well, I'm sorry I missed you. I'm here, but that's great. Obviously, like we were just talking about, if you have recognizable names, that's amazing. So if you can, this is, by the way, it's a good idea definitely to do what you can while you're in college or after college. Just get internships just to get those names. Really, any recognizable names. Doesn't have to be necessarily even in the industry that you want to work at. It's just helpful to have those recognizable names in there. Tesla held strategic reviews, multi-million-dollar venture. Oh my God. Too much words, Edmund.
Okay.
Less words, more stuff. that you did and impact that you drove. Translated future needs for an in-house oven burner. Oh my God, that's so specific. Control to quantifiable and actionable specifications, design a new solution. Whew, that's very specific. That's very specific. Like what is the product manager strength or attribute or skill that you're leveraging to do this thing that you're going to do for me next when I bring you on? That's what you're trying to tell me. That's very specific. Most of the time, I'm not going to know what you're talking about unless I happen, like this is like, Tesla or any one of the 5 other companies that are trying to do the same thing now. But then you're kind of narrowing yourself. Like you probably want to work. We didn't talk about this. I have no understanding, but I'm assuming you want to go into tech product management. You got Tesla in there. You have Scotiabank, Public Safety Canada, National Defense Canada. That's pretty interesting. Let's take a look at your hackathons. Dragon Hack, first place, second place, best multimedia, Brick Hack, Hack Western. There's actually so much emphasis on engineering. I'm wondering, are you sure you don't want to be an engineer as opposed to a product manager? Product manager, yes. Is it definitely product manager? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting a nod. All right, that's good.
Yes.
Usually when we go with a strong focus on engineering in our product management resume, it's when we want to demonstrate that you can work well with engineers. You can collaborate well with engineers. You speak their language. You can convince them of stuff. That's what a product manager's interaction with engineers needs to be. It's very specific in that it's not about you being able to code. No one wants product managers to code. Engineers, most of all, right? No one wants product managers to code. Sometimes there's certain, scripts, and obviously you want to be able to pull data and understand data and like maybe even able to understand certain code aspects, but it almost never is going to be an issue, especially in like general product management. So having said that, want more stuff like what are these skills, the attributes that you leveraged, and what is the result that you brought, right? I don't see a lot of result here. Let me go to number 3, created a comprehensive burner proposal. So again, don't care about specifics, but what happened? 50% reduced upfront cost against competitors. I wonder what does 50% upfront reduced 50% upfront cost against competitors means? Like when you reduce 50% cost, I assume it's like your cost to manufacture something, and that's going to be a 50% reduction, but it's when against competitors. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Like now I'm thinking maybe it's 50% less than competitors. Maybe that's what you're trying to say, but like which one of those things are you trying to say and why is it important? Modern field bus capabilities, and easy integration of existing infrastructure with it. Okay, cool stuff. Very, very fancy, but I don't understand what it means. And so let's get much shorter and let's try to figure out what the impact of it was. What happened as a result? And just like with the previous resumes, if you can't say what happened, what about the proxy? Like, was it approved? Did people like it? Was there indication it's going to get made? Or is there some other positive benefit that came out of it for the team, internal customers, external customers, whatever? Let's keep going with Scotiabank. If you can go down a little bit. Yep, to Scotiabank. Software developer, data engineer. Visualize, communicates global HR personnel data transfer flow to 20 plus data engineers by creating visual. Okay, so basically, what did you do here? You essentially design a data transfer flow, right? Okay, try to say that with less words. It's important.
Okay.
Data flows are extremely important, and that is a product manager's domain. And processes also product manager's domain, and improvement and getting people to buy in on your recommendation or whatever it is. That is important, definitely product manager's domain, but make sure you can say that clearly without being too verbose.
Okay.
Introduced test classes for internal HR tools, 15 data engineers for completing 100% testing code coverage. I'm not sure what that means. If you had your microphone working, or if the system worked, I bet you'd tell me an interesting story about that. But for now, we're just gonna have to assume that you're gonna need to get more less specific and more about the thing that you did that actually led to result. And I also don't understand exactly what the result is in terms of like 100% testing code coverage? Does that mean that we basically started to catch more errors or there was less errors? Whatever it is, just say it a little bit more clearly. Let's go to
Okay.
Public Safety Canada. Collaborated with deployment teams to develop automated GPS testing system to eliminate physical needs to transport devices. There's 4 twos in that sentence, right? 4 twos. That's a lot of twos. That's a long path for us to follow. Try to keep it consistent. It should be one thing. Like, here's what I did. Here's why it was important. So I think the key takeaway for now is, and I'm glad that you had the patience to kind of stick with me. Let's bring you on here for a moment. Put this away, bring you back on. The key takeaway is impact. There's not enough impact. And there's too much specificity. So there's too much specificity, which is exactly the opposite of what the reviewers need. They need more impact, less specificity, because they don't understand your industry. And if they do, that means it's very narrow, right? Your early career, so you don't really care about narrow unless you have very specific views about like what you want to do, which product managers generally tend to be a little bit more kind of broad. They can try different things and they get actually more experiences. They try different industries, different fields. So I would say focus on impact, reducing that specificity, reducing the actual number of words, and see if you can reformat. Try that simple format. On my Create Your Product Manager Resume video, there's a link to the template that I use. You can try that. If you don't want to redo the whole thing, obviously don't. I think it's fine. Ultimately, you're bringing a lot of attention to your engineering aspects, which is just one aspect of a product manager's tool belt, basically, right? Like that's important one. You're putting a lot of emphasis on that, and then you coupling that with lack of impact. So right now, the strengths that I see are, schooling, obviously, Tesla, and strong engineering focus and clear drive, to work on these type of products, which is good. I don't know if it's enough to continue to basically attract interest for folks that are looking for product managers. Okay, so that's my recommendation. Next time, Edmund, you are a gentleman and a scholar. Good sir. Thank you so much for your patience. So next time we're going to be using StreamYard. I don't think BeLive is going to be able to get me back here. We're going to try StreamYard, and I hope to see you back. Work on the resume. Email me. Let me know how you're doing. You still got some time left before you're out there hitting the pavement in earnest. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what you do next, Edmund. Thank you so much for your patience. Appreciate it. All right, take care, my friend. Edmund, excellent showing. Really making the best of the situation. I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to like restart the stream or something like that. It's kind of clunky. Okay. Yes, Tanya. Yes, you guys actually could hear Edmund. So it's funny. I should have just told him to obviously speak to you guys, but I can't hear him. What a bizarre situation. I mean, that's just. All right. Let me make sure that all the folks that are in the chat, make sure you are, or if you're watching this later on for some reason in video, make sure you subscribe because we've got more stuff and we're getting the technical difficulties out of the way early. We're looking for streaming platforms that are better. And hopefully we can do a lot of interesting stuff in the future. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button. It really helps out the channel. We are actually almost at 2,000 subscribers, which I really very much appreciate. And at 5,000 subscribers, we're going to add a Discord or a Slack channel where we can actually talk and basically have conversations as needed and basically have our own groups discussing resumes, discussing interviews, whatever it is. Let me also see some questions in chat. Arvind, can a student mention his teaching experience on resume? Yeah, I think so, Arvind, for sure. Why not? I think if it's relevant. Product manager is also a leader of a cross-functional group. So, and as a part of that, obviously, a teacher usually leads the group. So I think that's relevant right there. But if you can find a different way that would be relevant, then you can make that work as well. Okay. Sergey, good to see you, Sergey, as well. Yes, you guys can definitely hear both of us. Unfortunately, I cannot hear it. Okay, so Justin, in Europe, many universities give a grade out of 10 or 100, hence the percentage. That's yeah, okay. Yeah, I just never seen that as GPA. That's pretty interesting. Certainly, I understand the out of 10 and out of 100%, but yes, Bavish, Discord. Yeah, we're gonna go with Discord. I just recently fired up Discord. I used to do game development, a lot of game development, and we had Discord channels for like internal beta testers and beta testers and supporters. And so I just dusted off my Discord, which I haven't used in quite some time. And yeah, I'm looking forward to kicking that off when we get to that 5,000 subscribers. But so the sooner we get there, obviously share with your friends that are interested in building stuff and product management and business. And the sooner we get there, the sooner we can all chat and hang out a little bit more often. Okay. Sabina, let me try to bring you in. Hopefully it'll work. If not, at least the chat will hear you. I think that's what we've been seeing. Let me try to bring you in. Sabina, hello. Let me unmute you here and hope for the best. There we go. Say hello.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Yes, I can hear you. It's a small miracle. It's a small miracle. This is
Thanks for
awesome.
doing
Thank you very
this.
much for your
This is so
patience.
helpful for
Let me
me
just
and
make
us.
it a little bit louder. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you very much. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're looking for.
Did from MBA in business analytics. Prior to that, I worked as a consultant at PwC, doing project management and strategy. And I also worked in startups, doing product management, UX design, and a little bit of strategy. That's in short, yeah. I'll pull out.
Sounds good. Sounds good, Sabina. You're cutting off a little bit, but I can still hear you. Maybe you can put your resume on the screen if you could share your screen. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, guys. Well, it's not quite CNN yet, but we're getting there. Sabina, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Can
awesome.
you?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, yeah, but I see you here. You're sharing your screen. In fact, not once,
I'm
not
trying
twice,
to.
but 3 times. So let me close some of these because I see you sharing your screen 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Okay, hold on. Oh, so put up your resume so we can see it. Because right now I can't. When you load up your resume, we'll put it on the screen because we can see. I think your desktop and all of us again, but we need the resume. Also, let me check the host chat. I have not checked this in a while. We're on mute. Oh boy. Oh man, I missed a lot of conversations. All the folks that are in staging area, thank you so much for your patience. We're going to try to get to you. You're going to try your luck on the roulette of microphones.
Can you see the shared screen?
Sabina, let me see it. Hold on. Where did it go? Oh, it disappeared for some reason. I can't see it. Maybe you can reshare again. Oh, there. Okay, something's coming up whenever you are ready. And Kush, we're going to try to get to you next. We're going to do a silent resume review as well, since you have also been very patient. I appreciate it. Okay, Sabina, it's still loading, so I can't see it. Hello. I got a few of those as well. Hello and welcome to the show. All right. And what position are you looking for this morning that I can help you? You got a resume already?
Product management.
Little buddy? Sabina, I can't see your screen, unfortunately. I can't see it.
Oh.
You know what it was, folks?
I'll try again.
Unfortunately, Be Live is just not ready for prime time, unfortunately. Let me try to put it on the screen, Sabina, and see if it works. Oh, I can see myself and you, but you've got to switch. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. All right. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. We can see it. Perfect. MBA class of 2020. Good. That's fast education, STEM program, GPA. So with GPAs, usually I would say that you don't need to show GPA unless it's like, I don't know, extremely impressive.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
what
good.
364 is. It's been a while since I've been in school. Sabina, I would say, whoa, did you just get rid of it on the fly? I like it. You're just like live editing your resume. This is amazing.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
I would
scrolling
also
through.
say like, you don't try to save space. So usually, again, your most powerful stuff should be up top. So if you want to say, for instance, STEM designated program, you probably don't need to say that because it doesn't really tell me much. So you could probably cut that out. You don't have to make edits on the fly. There's just some stuff that I think of. Professional skills, I usually put those on the bottom unless it's some super powerful stuff that you're trying to say. But you're saying stuff that is important for product managers, research, strategy, communications. But it's all stuff that I would like to see come through in the bullets as opposed to in your skills. Right? Don't tell me that you're good at strategy. Tell me about how you used your strategy skills to actually deliver impact in the company. That's what I want to see. Same thing with research. Same thing with negotiation, project manager, executive buy-in, all that stuff. Ideally, you would get rid of it, then make a list for yourself, and then figure out a way that you're gonna demonstrate each one of those. So, like, how are you going to show me that you're good at executive presentations? Or are you going to show me you got executive buy-in, you got stakeholder buy-in? Okay, which stakeholder? How? In which bullet point? Okay, I designed this. I convinced folks to do this or go that direction. Whatever it is, you're going to figure out a way to put it into the bullet. Let's keep going. Data analysis and programming, all that stuff I would put on the bottom because it's some stuff that's handy for product managers to know. You need to have it basically up top. Let's keep going. Professional experience. Go a little bit. Scroll down if you could. Boundless group. Strategy. Product manager. Develop strategic roadmap. Yep. Oh, we lost you. Come back. There you go. Develop strategic roadmap to achieve short and long-term goals. So more specificity here. Strategic roadmap is good, but what did that strategic roadmap lead to? Like, first of all, I know that roadmap usually has short-term and long-term. So I understand it's a startup, but like, again, what happened with that roadmap? Was it adopted? Was it not? Like, was there buy-in on the roadmap? Well, what are you trying to say? That you know how to design the roadmap and it leads to what? You presented the co-founders, what happened? So see if you can find a way to, again, I know you're in there for only some time, like a short time. So if you need to find a way to proxy, like a proxy metric. Okay, so presentation, was it accepted? Did it get initiated? Did you get at least some buy-in? What happened? Something measurable. Build recommendations for data gathering, storing, and analysis. I don't know what those recommendations led to. Again, look for proxy metrics. Were they accepted? How did they impact anyone's lives, like internal customers, external customers, stakeholders, fundraising, whatever it is that's important for a startup or important for the customers that use the startup's products. Attracted, onboarded new clients. Again, how many clients? Did it lead to revenue? Did it lead to other metrics increases? What was the impact? Work plan of iterations, sprints for engineers to deliver a product. Are you trying to say that you led basically, agile development or any kind of development, iterative development? Then what was the result of it? Did you deliver this number of sprints? Were they on time? Were they on quality? Was there other ways? We need ways of measuring this stuff. Now let's look at PwC. PwC. Oh, so you worked there for a couple of years. Okay. All right. So designed and implemented interactive reporting tools led the automation of strategic financial models where my team. So there's a lot of stuff there. The same thing that we were talking to, that we were just reviewing in previous resumes. Get specific about the thing you want to say. Try not to say multiple things in one bullet. Right? You're saying a lot of stuff. Identify the story that you're trying to tell in a single bullet and try to say it in as few words as possible. 5-year strategic models for forecasting performance of companies. Okay. And so what are you demonstrating that from a product? What's useful from a product management perspective? The fact that you can end-to-end design a system, that might be it. That might be interesting, but then say that. Because, or the fact that you can think strategically in terms of 5-year plans, maybe that's what it is. So think about what you're trying to say, maybe break it down into multiple bullets. Develop organizational structure for IT divisions for executive middle management levels, advising the caliber of talent to be attracted. So again, we need more metrics. Your resume is clearly lacking metrics. We need a lot more metrics. So the previous resume was a good example because we had metrics for everything, right? Like as much as possible, you can put metrics. This is what is, I think, missing more than anything else. And of course, brevity. We got to get a little bit less words. Supervise the group. Okay, so you want to demonstrate you led a group. That's good. You got agile. That's also good. $36 million invested. I don't know. That seems to be like the lone metric or one of the few metrics on here. So let's understand what that $36 million is. Is it, what does it relate to? Is this your budget? Is it savings? Is revenue? I don't exactly know what it is. I'm assuming it's some sort of investment, meaning budget.
Yeah, it's a budget.
Yeah. So get what's the relevance of it? Like, are you saying that you just managed a big budget? Maybe, and that may be fine. Just be clear with yourself about what you're actually trying to say. Developed IT strategy for microfinancing organizations to satisfy growing demand for loans. Okay, that's good. But again, what did the strategy lead to? Got to get the specific impact. And I understand that consultants, obviously, a lot of the time they make recommendations and the implementation itself is out of their hands. I can certainly appreciate that. But you've got to find proxy metrics. Again, usually it's like approval or beginning of the project, sort of acceptance of the project is usually a good way to show proxy metric. Okay, developed. So we did that. Integration plan, cross-functional teams. So cross-functional demonstration is good. Finance, operations, IT. So what did you do with them? So what is this integration plan? What is the point? It's supposed to cut costs. What is it trying to do at the major transformation of the National Railroad Company? It's not enough context or rather, it's maybe too much specificity, but not enough context around what exactly happened with this cross-functional team. Like how was it integrated? Why was it integrated? And what was the benefit of that integration? I think it's good you're trying to demonstrate this cross-functional type of work, but just explain to us what was the result of it. I know this can be tough. Impact is probably one of those most requested questions that I get, like, how can I show impact? Just honestly ask yourself, like, who or what was changed as a result of this work? Sometimes it ends up being nothing. Like a lot of times we do end up doing stuff that basically has very little impact. And I think that's great impetus for us to do better and plan better next time and understand before we start on something as product managers, we think, what's the point of this? What is going to change in this world, this company, for our clients if I do this thing? Or what is my hypothesis about what's going to change? That may not always work out, but you got to have those exit criteria, those success metrics already there. And so it can be tough, but it's very, very important. And ultimately, when your resume is going to be reviewed, that impact is a lot of times what folks are going to look at. I mean, it's a combination of things, of course, but the impact is what I usually see a lot of times lacking. Let's go to the next one, user experience design. I think that's also, by the way, UX design is very handy for product managers to have. Sort of understanding of the way that users interact with different products, usually tech products. It's very helpful and it helps basically have a user-focused design methodology. So you optimize the design of the educational products to increase user satisfaction, user retention. So it would be good to know here. You can be a little bit less verbose about like satisfaction, because I wonder how you measured satisfaction. Is it like NPS, or is it, or did you use retention as a proxy for satisfaction? But again, be specific here of like, what was the impact? So it was increased, but by how much? Sometimes you don't know it. Estimate what you can and put in there some sort of a number, and then obviously be prepared in an interview to defend that number. But most important is you need to understand that, okay, it increased it. If you don't know how much it increased it, then how do you know it was increased in the first place? Does that make sense? Let's keep going. Designed a dashboard to increase an average time spent on the platform by 10% during A/B testing. Okay, that's good. That's good. I don't know, probably not during A/B testing. I'm assuming that you showcase this 10% difference via an A/B test. You don't need to say that. I think we can understand that if it went up by 10%, or are you saying basically, okay, you utilized A/B testing in order to arrive at this? I think that's fine in that case. Sorry, let me zoom in on this a little bit. I think that one's actually a better indication of impact than I've seen so far in the resume. So you want more stuff like this. Collaborate with cross-functional team engineers to optimize the platform for mobile devices. Again, how did you actually collaborate with them? Is this a project that you kicked off, or did you help them specifically like redesign certain aspects? So that might both of those aspects might be powerful to demonstrate. But in general, and I see awards and certificates, I think that's fine. You can put education in there as well. I also see Walt Disney Company, so that's great. You've got recognizable names, PwC, Walt Disney Company. I think in that respect, you're doing well. I think the key aspect here is we need a lot more impact demonstrated. So I think that's it. Let me try to bring you back here. I don't know, Sabina, if you're still with us, if you can hear us. But overall, I would like to see you work on the impact on that one and come back to us and let me know how to improve. Basically, I'd like to take a look at it. But I think you've got a lot of you've got plenty of stuff in there that you can use as sort of work material, and I look forward to seeing what it looks like in the future. So it looks like I lost video and audio. So hopefully you saw that. If not, you can go back and watching the video when it is up on YouTube. And please keep me updated. Thank you very much. Okay, folks, we're coming up also on time here pretty soon. Let me try to get to a few more of you that have been waiting. Let me see if there's any questions. All right, everything looks good. Okay, so let's see if we can move on. So, Kush, you've been extremely patient. Maybe we can look at your resume. I know I can't hear you, but the chat can hear you, so you can introduce yourself. And it's funny that chat can hear you, so I wonder if they will hear you in YouTube later. In any case, it's a lot of interesting questions. But let's see your resume, and then I can try to figure out the story about what you're looking for from there. Okay. That's my own son running around in the background, just saying some stuff. So we see ourselves, which maybe you can, an infinite. Yes, that's good. Let me put you away here. And let's take a look. All right, let me see what we can learn from this silent interview. Kush, by the way, thanks very much for your patience. We appreciate it. All right, we've got business school, graduation 21, an MBA, then a technical university, Bachelor of Technology, Information Technology, product management intern. Okay, so product management, obviously we're going for product management. I see also consultant down there. Good. All right, so let's look at this. So I'm assuming obviously you're going for product management roles. So we want to focus on product management experience or related skills. 5+ competitor analysis. I'm a big fan of using number plus. Like I use that all the time. That's just a personal call out. I would probably start that at like 10 plus, like 5 plus. You might as well just say 5 or 6 or whatever it is. But it depends where you draw the line. Usually I'll probably draw the line at 10 or something like that. So you basically perform competitor analysis and market research for real-time retail price intelligence product to be launched on Shopify. Launched on Shopify, presented to management, helped in devising vision, go-to-market strategy. So what happened with that? I would love to know what happened with that, since you've been with them for like 3-4 months. I want to understand what happened with it. Was it approved? It's like similar to what we were talking. Kush, it doesn't matter. I won't be able to hear you anyway. This is just something for you to think about. I want to understand. So you did this competitor analysis, you did this market research. See if you can condense that to, again, one line as much as possible. And rather than telling me about this product, that it's a real-time retail price intelligent product, because I don't really know what that means, tell me about why it's important, and also what happened as a result of this presentation. Was it approved? Did it get started? Are you already finished with it? Like what happened with that? So why it's important and what happened with it. Design a win-loss report by conducting a bunch of client interviews, gathered customer insights, collaborated engineers to add improved product features, resulting in 50% increase in customer acquisition. I wonder how your improvements to product features will result in 50% increase in customer acquisition. Customer acquisition is usually it's a marketing. I mean, you certainly, I don't know how you design features. There would have to be some sort of marketing features or onboarding features or something like that, because you can't really impact customer acquisition unless you meant like, engagement, retention, or something like that. But be specific about what you mean here. Usually product features, most of the time, they're going to be about improving retention, onboarding, engagement, monetization, something like recurring revenue or whatever, referrals. But customer acquisition is usually a marketing bit. And you can add like product features that are going to increase the marketing or the way that your customer acquisition, user acquisition happens. But usually product features are for the other stuff. And increase NPS for account-based campaign. Also, I don't know what account-based campaign means, by 20%. Through A/B testing. See, A/B testing is only the method via which you were able to accomplish this thing. But what are the actual changes to the product that led to this 20%? 20% is pretty big. And also, yeah, like what happened? I don't really understand the product, and I don't really understand what you did. I don't think it's quite enough to just tell me that you used A/B testing. So you basically, I want to know, I mean, it's sort of basic that people use A/B testing in order to effect change. I think that's the way that you actually test whether or not your features are beneficial. A lot of times, sometimes you can't actually effectively A/B test. You have to use other methodologies. But for our purposes, basically any iterative changes in product are going to be A/B tests. So I'd rather know about why it's important, how you did it, if you can, and what was the impact. And if you can only do one of those, then at least what was the impact? So you have it in there, 20%. But also, when you're talking about something like I did, like basically all you're saying there is that I had impact of 20% on net promoter score, which is pretty good, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. You don't tell me the what and the why. So at least if you can tell me, okay, here's what you did, here's the impact, and what did you actually do to do this, or at least tell me why. One of those. Just give me a little bit more information so I can essentially believe that the NPS went up by 20% through some actions of yours. Oh, Sabina, it's okay. Don't worry about it. The internet went down. Yes, and my kid is running around as well. So don't worry about it at all. And hopefully you heard. And if not, you can. We saw the resume, so we did go through it. You can check it out later in the video. Okay, Kush, let's keep reading here. Collaborate with stakeholders to gather requirements, define success metrics, KPIs for product development. That's also very general. I mean, that is a lot of the stuff that a product manager does, but I need a little bit more. If you have other metrics that are, because you were at that company for a year, so I want to see powerful stuff. So like you can have that be that's equivalent to a responsibilities bullet, which I don't really like, because you're basically saying like things I did and you don't know about why you did them or what was the impact. So if you have no other bullets, you can include that, but definitely at the top, right, the very first thing you're talking about there should be the most powerful thing. So let's read like what other stuff. Translated business requirement to user stories to prioritize. That's pretty interesting. So you basically prioritize, or obviously product managers does that. A product manager does that. Led a team, that's good, and reduce costs by 15,000 per quarter. Help the clients. How did you do that? By migrating on-premise to cloud. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Manage the software development lifecycle by creating schedules for release, user acceptance, that's code deployment. That's fine. So you're the manager. You manage the development release schedule. That makes sense. That's fine. So I think that's not bad. It's not bad. You have some stuff in there that a product manager generally does, and you have some impact there. I would want to see more, and I would want to see you headline with something that's the most strongest. Then before that, as an analyst, optimized SQL code, reducing execution. That's great. 25,000 a quarter. Awesome. Good savings. That makes sense. So that's like a good line right there. I don't exactly know how you optimize it, but I'm assuming that, okay, you're demonstrating that you are so good at SQL that you can actually optimizing it, leading to actually savings, like significant dollar savings. That's pretty cool. I like that. There's impact and you're showing tech skills. I like it. Creative mappings and workflows during a monthly sprint in an agile environment. So that feels a little bit verbose. Also, you're basically saying like, okay, there's sprints. It's an agile environment. You're not telling me what you did and why you did it. Don't forget, this goes for everybody. I keep repeating it, but just what's the story? What's the story you're saying? Only say the important stuff. Don't worry about removing things. Don't worry if your resume is too short. It's better for it to be too short than too long, by far. Way, way, way better for it to be too short than too long. And finally, facilitated knowledge transfer session. New members, develop task tracker, reduce onboarding time. That's pretty good, but get more specific about it, rather more concise. I think helping other folks on board is powerful. It helps the business, helps the organization, and it also it means you obviously care about the team. So it's a lot of good stuff in there. See if you can get more concise about what you did there. Troubleshooting to resolve production issues, part of the application maintenance team, while maintaining 100% adherence service level agreement. That's not. It's a lot of words for negligible value added here. I don't know that we find that extremely valuable as a product manager. Your adherence to service level agreement is good, and the benefit was that you basically worked with customers to troubleshoot their production issues, or you worked with internal customers. A little bit confusing about what happened there. The takeaway is that you kept it 100% adherence to the SLA. But I'm not clear that that's like that's a very powerful demonstration. I don't really know that that's extremely impactful. Consider again, see what other stuff you have in the resume and figure out what to leave, what to keep based on relative impact. All right, so academic projects, I think entrepreneurial is always awesome if you can demonstrate projects or side products or companies or businesses, whatever. Research-based mobile app to help people with mental illness. Excellent. That's great. Prioritize features. So you derived insights probably to prioritize features for initial MVP, not to prioritized features. It's probably a typo. Create user personas, conducted interviews, study competitive landscape, and understand user requirements to product market fit. Again, that feels like a little bit relatively kind of vapid. Again, not very impactful. You sort of like listing responsibilities, listing things you did. Maybe because it's your own project, maybe it's fine, but like I'd rather know, okay, were you able to launch the thing? Did you get some downloads? Did you get some revenue? Like what was there any traction? That's what I'd like to know. Because ultimately we all have to do these things for any project that we launch, but what actually happened? Were you able to actually utilize those skills that you were talking about to have some sort of result? And if not, why and like, what's the growth from there. Like if you can demonstrate something like that, that would be more impactful. I don't know what you probably, was this misspelling here? Redesign website content, because you said resigned. Probably you mean redesign. Yeah. Okay. Oh, by the way, don't make spelling mistakes. Don't make any typos, because it's just it's attention to detail, which, like, this is your product, and theoretically we have so much time to do it. And I'm sure you spend a lot of time iterating, and we all have. Make sure there's no spelling, punctuation, grammar, nothing. Most of the time it's not going to be an issue. No one's going to pay too much attention to a missing comma or different fonts or misspellings. But you don't want to affect the folks that might say, you know what, that's not attentive. That's it. It's sort of like the best example. I'll give you another example of this. When I was interviewing a person for a designer position, like a product designer, basically a product manager, and they listed creativity as a key strength during the interview. And I said, can you give me some examples about your creativity? And they said, well, I can't at this moment. So that's like, well, wait a minute, you listed creativity as your key tenet, and then you can't give me any examples. You can't come up with anything on the spot. It feels like a similar situation is like you're producing your resume and you're saying, like, you're detail oriented, you're a product manager, you care about this stuff, but then you make like little mistakes. So that's kind of how I think about it. Okay, so I think Kush, thank you so much for your patience. I think please continue working on this. We need to get rid of the non-impactful stuff in your resume. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about filling in a lot of content. Just focus on the stories you want to tell. You do have a lot of stuff that you've done that is relevant to product management, and I think you can craft a compelling story. See also what other things from product manager's perspective are missing. What aspects of product management are you not demonstrating? I have a bunch of videos that are talking about like top 10 skills of product manager, qualities I look for in a product manager. See what's missing from there, what's not represented in this resume, and then think about, okay, which of these can I actually add in right now, and which ones do I not have? I just don't have experience with them, and think about the ones that you do have. How do you actually demonstrate it? And the ones that you don't have, see how you can actually get some experience. Maybe join a group of folks that are building some stuff, or build something by yourself, or try to develop or take on projects. Like just basically give yourself a path to how you're going to complete that product management picture. I think a lot of times we take a short term view of things, and you should think about it as kind of more of a long-term development, and just like craft the story about yourself as you go. Give yourself time to develop over a period of time. Okay, Kush, thank you so much for your patience. Really appreciate you joining us, and please keep me updated. Thank you so much. I can't. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you so much, Kush. I appreciate it. People are getting inventive. Edmund showed me paper. Kush showed me his phone. So that's good. We're figuring out ways of how we can communicate. Okay, Prachi, let me try to bring you on here. We're going to try your luck. For the folks that are watching, and we're going to have to wrap up soon. So if I didn't get to you, please make sure to, Bhavish, I'm going to try to get to you next. I know you emailed me, and I've been meaning to speak to you. I'm glad you were able to join us. And the rest of the folks, I see Tanya, Jeffrey, Pooja. I don't know if we're going to get to you today. We're going to try. We're going to see how far we can get. But if not, you can obviously always email me, and we're going to continue to do these sessions. And next week we're going to be back on StreamYard. All right, so let me try to bring Prachi. Let me bring you in, and we'll try your luck. Try my luck rather. Okay, Prachi, let me unmute you first.
Oh. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. All right.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Very happy to hear you. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, as always, for your patience. Just a few words about your background and what you're looking for.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I'm a software engineer. I have overall 11 plus years experience as a Oracle PL SQL developer. I started my first project in 97, 98
Awesome.
onward. So I can see in this group, I will be the most senior
There you
person
go.
age-wise, not though experience-wise. They are
Sounds like
quite
experience-wise as well. So
I mean, like, yeah. So, I started my career in India. I came here. I was on H4 in US. So during that time, I did my master's in Boston, in Cambridge College. I did my OCP certification. Then I applied under my master's category. I applied for H1B. I started working as a consultant, as a Oracle PL SQL programmer. I did few projects in USA. Then I moved back to India for good. Back in India, I worked in Tech Mahindra. But during that time, some family emergency came and I had to quit the job. So now I'm on a career break, and I'm again back to USA in Seattle, and I'm now I just want to enter into the job market
sure,
after
sure.
a long career break.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for taking my
Oh,
name in such a
yeah,
huge
of course,
list.
of course. No, it's my pleasure. And yeah, so different things happen. Like obviously, different situations happen. People kind of tend to overthink. Okay, I don't have this background, or I was on a big career break, or whatever it is. I wouldn't focus on the negatives. Just focus on the positive, the stuff that you
True.
do have. You've got experience. You've got educational background. And you're
Yeah,
interested in coming back.
I don't regret, like
Yeah. Oh, of course,
this
of
is
course.
what
So
I
now, but you said you have engineering background, but you want to. So do you want to get into
no,
product management?
I don't have an engineering background. I have a bachelor's degree in commerce, and
Yeah.
I did my master's in business and IT.
Got it.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
So
so
and in terms of product management, you want to get into product management like
well,
in tech. You like so there's obviously product management very specific. You've done consulting, so you're kind of familiar with that. Okay, so let me look at your resume, and then we'll talk about some stuff where product management skills might overlap and where there might be some gaps. Let's look at that. So meanwhile, folks, if you have not smashed the like button for all the technical issues that we've been having, we're 45 or 5 away from 50. It would be nice. It would definitely make me feel better about all the problems that we've been having if we get to 50 likes. So Prachi, let me put it in the screen here. It's still loading up. I don't know if it's
do you see?
no, it's just a black screen. Okay, it's loaded up. So let me go ahead and put it on screen. Okay. So right away, my usual speech about that top line, right? It might be useful, but if I see it, I gave an exception this morning earlier because it was one line, but like 4 lines, I'll usually on the first glance I will skip it. So because of the fact that obviously people don't know everybody's unique situations, but they look at these resumes, a lot of resumes coming in, and so most likely if it's in multiple lines, it will be skipped almost kind of regardless of what it says there. Now, I'm not saying that everyone will skip it, but I'm saying that some will skip it. So that means they won't even read it. And whenever you put essentially either a mission statement or some sort of an overview at the top, you're basically saying to yourself, I'm aware that some folks will not read this, but I'm saying that it's going to be important for the ones that do read it. The message that I'm trying to convey there is important enough where I'm prepared to lose sort of those other readers. It's like a trade-off. That's kind of like your resume is your basically your first product as a product manager. So you're saying like, I'll lose these users that skip this, but the users that do read it, maybe they'll gain a deeper understanding or deeper insight. So let's go to the actual work. We get tech specialists maintain existing legacy systems and worked on enhancement to improve processes. If we're going for product management, that's the unique thing about product management is responsibilities, as I said today, will not cut it. You need to basically demonstrate the impact of your work. So in these situations, like how were processes actually improved? what aspect of those processes actually improved as a result of the enhancements that you added, and why were you maintaining the legacy system? Is this, and the fact that you're saying it is an existing legacy system, does that mean that later on it was switched, or there's reasons not to switch it? Why is it important it's a legacy system? In other words, what's the point of saying that you maintain the system? Like, okay, you worked on enhancements, that's improvement of a product. Or if you're maintaining it because it was important because there's constant issues that were popping up with it and someone needed to handle it and you handled it, then that could also be it. But basically, like, pick a reason and identify the why and the impact.
Mm-hmm.
Provided production support, suggestions in retrospective meetings. More specificity here. So I don't exactly know what production support is. Also, I don't know why production is capitalized. Just a minor nitpick. I don't, you might want to like rethink that your capitalization. By the way, overall, like aesthetically, obviously the resume looks nice and clean and one page and looks great, but just letting you know some things that are popping up for me. Provided IT support in new web-based application. Really not specific enough, right? I don't know what support means. I don't know what a web-based application means in this situation. I don't know the relevance of all this stuff, and I don't know why you did it. And if you're thinking of product management resume, is you've got to figure out a way to leverage the work that you did and your knowledge in such a way that will be useful to folks that are hiring product managers. So I wouldn't worry about the career gap as much as I would about the fact that you need to identify why you're doing important stuff and showing how it was important.
So basically, as you mentioned, the legacy system was there because few users were using those system, and we have to track all the issues. But at the same time, web-based application was also under development, and so we were kind of juggling. Sometimes handling
Okay.
application, sometimes handling legacy system and all.
Yeah.
So definitely there was a transition was taking place.
Okay,
But-
so think about that. Think about that transition. While the transition place, you're providing support, and as a result, like, we're able to keep these customers or whatever happened. That tells a different story, right? The story is that, okay, we were doing the switch, but we needed to make sure we don't lose these customers. So maybe because of the efforts, we did not lose these customers. We retained them at this rate. Got to get more specific there, and got to find the story and how you're telling it also a little more specifically. Actively involved in design overview, test cases, story development, code reviews, UAT demo, etc. Well, actively involved, I mean, if it was in a leadership capacity, you should say that. And also, again, what was the result of this? The result is that you have this many project launches or like sprint launches or sprint completions or whatever it is. So maybe a little bit more specificity about your role in this involvement. And of course, as always, I should finish every video with, and of course, don't forget to talk about the impact. What was the result of this action? So that's the really biggest difference between product management and non-product management resumes. Really, any kind of results-oriented position where it's not about the responsibility and the things that you do, but it's about what happens as a result of your actions. It's like sales, is another similar one. It doesn't matter that you went on sales calls and you called this many people. Well, it wouldn't matter to me because it shows like tenacity and all this stuff. But generally, you want to demonstrate, like, as a salesperson, you're able to drive sales results. And as a product manager, you want to drive executed products that bring improvements in various metrics.
Mm-hmm.
Provided technical support as per requirement, client interaction, conducting interviews, build a team. Okay, so look, you sort of, as a matter of fact, mentioned the fact that you conducted interviews to build the team. That's a strong bullet on its own. Like, not only you built the team, but you interviewed this many candidates, and as a result, the team grew, or like you were directly involved in building out the team. That's strong. That's an important aspect of product management, is someone who builds out the team and you literally participates in hiring. So that deserves its own bullet. And technical support as per requirement, again, it doesn't say anything. Like, you guys just have to be honest with yourself. This goes for everybody that's writing these resumes. Just like, what does this line actually say? And if it doesn't really say anything, just remove it and start from scratch. Usually the way I did this is that I would start from the things that a product manager should be. Again, those skills and things that I look for, and make a list. Let's say 20 things that you want to demonstrate about yourself, or 10 things that you want to demonstrate as a product manager, or even 5 things that you want to demonstrate as a product manager. And then think, what do I have in my career here that I've done that actually is similar to this? Like, what do I have that is an end-to-end development or execution, getting something to launch, or getting some metrics to change, or working with a group, diverse organizational group, or communication, or convincing, or building vision or strategy roadmap. What do I have that I can leverage as this? And then stuff like provided technical support, again, it's just going to fall off because it doesn't back up any of these claims.
I mean, I just wanted to demonstrate that with what kind of stakeholders I dealt with, like client interaction, sitting with the BAs to jot down the design overview and write down the stories, and, then build the team, these different kind of stakeholders I dealt with. That's what.
Yeah. That's
through this,
good.
I want.
I mean, focus on the user. And the fact that you're involved in sort of this creation of identification of the user problems, or whatever it was, I think that's strong to demonstrate. But it doesn't come through when you say provided technical support and client interaction and conducting interviews. So it doesn't come through. Just pick a thing. If you want to say alignment, getting buy-in and alignment from stakeholders, then what's a way you're gonna show that you did that? Like, what did you do? Did you page certain projects or documents, or get buy-in and get approval on certain things? Like, what was it? And then do a bullet on that, as opposed to these multiple things that you're trying to say, okay, here's some responsibilities all together, into one. It kind of dilutes the impact. System analyst, go a little bit, scroll down to system analyst at Cigna Health Insurance. Demonstrated the appropriate sense of urgency in analyzing, assessing. Can you scroll down the resume page? Because I can't see it because I have my own faces on the screen. Yeah, can you just scroll that down? There you go. Okay, so yep, from system analyst, that's perfect. Analyzing, assessing, resolving production issues. Okay, and you're a system analyst, so you're basically triaging, prioritizing. You could demonstrate the fact that your prioritization led to addressing some very important production issues, for instance. That would be strong as a product manager to prioritize these issues. As it is right now, I know you're saying appropriate sense of urgency, but basically, like, the thing that you did is you prioritized for high impact, and then as a result, you were able to save these customers, or address these issues before they became bigger, or whatever it is. So rather than saying like appropriate sense of urgency, tell me what happened as a result of these production issues being addressed, or as a result of your prioritization exercise or series of exercises.
Okay.
Worked on ad hoc reporting requests by working database objects, shell scripts. Sure. So as an analyst, yeah, you're going to get ad hoc reporting requests. Ideally, you would be able to tell me, okay, so what was the results? Were these ad hoc requests important and successful? Sometimes we get a ton of ad hoc requests, and as a product manager, it would be stronger if you were able to build a process around handling these ad hoc requests. So, or that a system of prioritization so that you can actually address the most important ad hoc requests. Because right now it just tells me that you respond to ad hoc requests, so you're responsive, which is great, but a product manager needs to be effective, not necessarily just responsive. That's the kind of that next level thing. So be careful what you're demonstrating. So you're demonstrating you're a team player, you're responsive, but also are you going to build a better process? Are you going to prioritize? Are you going to do the stuff that's going to have a bigger impact? That's important. It goes for everybody. Conducted meetings with business users to plan testing strategies. I don't exactly know what that means. Get more specific. Is this about testing the product? Who are these business users, right? Get more specific. Like, what are you trying to say? What's the skill that you're trying to demonstrate? I think you're, Project, you got a lot of stuff here. And I'm sure you're just only scratching the surface of the work that you did. I'm sure you can identify a lot more stuff. So be sure you've watched my videos on the top 10 skills for product managers, on the things that I look for in product managers. When I hire, I have videos on that. Make that list. Go through your resume. Make sure you're only putting the stuff that actually is speaking to all of this, right? So I think we can kind of stop here. Let me turn this off and put you back on screen. So I think you need to maybe go back a step before you try to refine this resume. Make sure you get the right raw materials in there before you like refine this and make more progress. Make sure you're actually leveraging the full extent of your experience. And then after that, like we usually regarding the career break, I think it's totally fine. You don't even need, you can explain in one line item, but honestly, you don't even need to do that. You can usually explain that in a conversation with the recruiter. They'll say, okay, so why was there a career break? And you can explain it very quickly. It doesn't have to be a lot of detail. It's like you were experienced, this happened, now you're back and you'd like to contribute. You're excited about this. So I think you'll be fine on that. But if you want to go product manager, make sure you follow all those steps. Make sure you actually identify the stuff that's important for product managers. And then you come back in the next couple of weeks and hopefully we can see a resume that actually speaks sort of the product manager language a little bit more clearly, as opposed to, being different things that you did. It's more like, that's how resumes kind of, more or less used to be, where you're like, here are my responsibilities. And we need to go a step beyond.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Prachi. Thank you so much for your patience. I look forward to seeing this resume improved.
Sure.
Thank you so much. All right. Appreciate it. Take care. All right, folks. Let's see. Maybe we can try to do one more. Bhavish, I know you waited a long time. Let me try to get you in here. And we, of course, roll the dice and see if the audio will work. We've already had like 2 or 3 in a row where it worked. Bhavish?
Hi, Alex. Can you hear me?
Success.
Awesome.
3 for 3. But you know what? I'm still going to leave this platform, as you can imagine, because that's, you can't. Sure, now it's starting to work, but no, it's too little, too late. But Bhavish, it's very good to see you. Thank you very much for your patience. Please give us a few words about you and your interests.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So I'm currently pursuing my master's in the US. Currently, come from a core computer science background. I have had, worked at companies like Samsung. Then I worked at Wipro. Very recently, I was working in a startup where I was given a chance to lead a team towards an enterprise product.
Nice.
So I actually managed a team of 9 to develop a mobile application, and I owned enterprise grade features. So like KYC and IAM, things which we take for granted, but it was so difficult.
I bet.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just I'm aspiring for like associate product manager roles.
Sounds awesome. Okay, Bhavish, sounds great. All right, let's see your resume.
Yeah, sharing my screen right now. Can you see it?
Yep, it loaded up. Let me just put it on the screen. Okay. All right, perfect. So I can see that. Let me go ahead and give it a once over. So we got education.
Yeah.
Master of Science, 3846. I like it. You have 3 digits. I mean, that's dedication right there. 3 decimal, beyond the decimal point. I would just round that up, right? And that's 385. That's a strong 385 right there.
Yeah.
I'm just joking, obviously. Okay. Machine learning, data engineering, business analytics, project management. I think it's good stuff. So I'm of 2 minds about list in coursework if it's strong and it's related, something that like areas that you want to go into. I'm okay with putting on top. Otherwise, I put it like on the way in the bottom just to save some space at the top. President of Tech SHRM. Oh, what's SHRM? Some sort of
It's right here. It's a club for HR management, but we focus on people analytics, which is it's a very small subfield of data analytics.
Got it. Okay. Launch People Analytics Hackathon. Led a team of 6, resulting 50% increase in student engagement. All right. Impact right away, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be talking a lot about impact with you, I hope, Avish, because you've heard me talk about it so much. Probably is already like constantly ringing in your ears. Awarded outstanding student chapter by 2020. Okay, great. So far it looks good, meaning like, I'm very careful about putting stuff up top that is not very impactful, but I see why you put it up there, so I think that's fine. Let's keep going. Let's look at the experience now. Shoptaki, led and managed team of 9, design and development, B2C, mobile application, part of blockchain like platform. Is that PAS, platform as a service?
Yes.
Financial B2B Whoa. So it's B2C, but it's financial B2B. What is going on, Bhavish? That's a lot of confusing stuff in there. Please explain.
So it's basically a B2B platform for the enterprises, but it also has a B2C component, which is with the users. Something like like Facebook Ad Manager. So advertising companies come on to it, and then we as consumers use the Facebook platform, something like that.
Gotcha. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, you led and managed the team in the design and development, and you successfully delivered the MVP on iOS, Android, and web.
Yeah.
Let me just think about this one. I want to think about this one. What are we trying to say there? You're trying to say 2 things. Did you notice you're saying 2 things? You led and managed a team of 9, which is pretty strong. That's strong product management right there. But then you also did end-to-end design development. But then you also worked on blockchain. And then you also worked on a platform that is B2C, but also B2B. And you also delivered these MVPs. You're saying like 4 or 5 things in one item, which is in a way it's strong because there's a lot of stuff that you're saying. On the other hand, it dilutes each thing. I would actually make multiple bullets out of those, and at least try it and see what it looks like. You probably had a lot of iterations of this resume, but just try it, see what it looks like. Let's see what other bullets you've got there. Because so far all of those are strong. All of that stuff is strong. A successful delivery of the MVP. It would be good if you tell me like, okay, did you do it on budget and on time, or like how was it? What happened as a result of this MVP? Like, did people use it? Ultimately, that's what we want to know, right? You stopped at the MVP. That's good. But then what happened? Are there beta testers or like folks that are interacting with it? You're kind of like almost at the end, but like what happened?
Yeah, so it's currently the other components are being developed for the platform. So it's just that the consumer part is ready. So the business part has to be ready. So
it's ready, but no one's using it yet because the other components are not done?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's disappointing. But I understand what you mean. So let's keep going and let's see how strong those other bullets are as well.
Sure.
KYC. Yep. Of B2B platform. Enterprise grade features. So KYC is a big thing, and this is Shoptaki. So as a result, like this is compliance stuff, as far as I know. Obviously, KYC, you gotta make sure you're asking for the right information from these people and you're storing it, and then you're also identity access management presumably is like making sure that actually I don't know, because it could be security, it could just be authentication and essentially like user profile storage, stuff like that. That's a little bit less clear. But also just that you owned these, that's good. But what did you build new features there, or did you own the KYC story end to end?
It's both. I both built it and I had to manage it. So I was basically like a team lead for this entire project.
And is this still the same? Is still the same platform that you led the MVP on?
No, that was the mobile application, and this is the B2B one. So we worked on two projects. So the platform, I only owned two features, but the mobile application was completely, from start to finish, we did it.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Yeah, you definitely want to highlight that the B2B, like the KYC on the B2B, a lot of acronyms here, but I want to know what happened. I want to know if you were the end-to-end designer on this KYC. It's complicated, and I want to know what the result was. Like, was there some compliance aspects of this that were like regulatory aspects of this? Like, what was the end goal that this feature is shipped? So, just a little bit more specificity here, because rather than telling me like what features you worked on, because you're telling me, look, I worked on these two segments, know your customer and identity access management. But what was the result? Were these features successful? Did they hit their goals? What happened as a result of you owning this area?
Got it.
Analyze the market, prioritize features based on KPIs such as time spent and error and rework per sprint cycle, reducing the peer release time by 2 weeks. Again, you're bundling stuff. You're saying that your analysis and your prioritization led to the MVP release. So what happened? Like you delivered it 2 weeks ahead of time, or the sprints became 2 weeks shorter each? What happened?
We released it 2 weeks ahead of time.
2 weeks ahead of time. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a lot or a little? Like, is this a project that took 8 weeks to do or 2 years to do?
It was just a couple of weeks. So it was like 8 weeks. Supposed to be doing it 8 weeks, but we did it in 7.
Oh, okay. So that's good. You might want to use percentages in those situations, right? Because those absolute dates don't really demonstrate the impact as powerfully as like, hey, we delivered it, 18% ahead of schedule.
Got it.
And then also just tighten that up so that I understand how you did it. It sounds like what you did there was you analyzed time spent and error and rework. So effectively you prioritize. So you basically have to tell me, look, you prioritize some high impact issues, working on those and not working on the low impact issues. And then you reduced your time to market by 18%. Just get specific. Like, what is the skill you used? What's the muscle that you used? It's your prioritization muscles, right?
Yeah.
You said, let's not do that. That's very important for product managers. A lot of times we want to do everything. We end up doing nothing. If you want to demonstrate that, look, I did this. I didn't focus on the unimportant stuff and we got this done ahead of time. Yeah, that sounds good. Developed a scalable architecture based on wireframes for financial platform while evaluating system design trade-off decisions for effect. Oh my God, Bhavesh, you just want to put so much stuff into each bullet. I just love it. You want to say 5 things for everything. Try to just like tease those apart and ask yourself, what's the main thing or the key thing I want to say here, and then the other stuff, see if you can bundle them in a different place or their own bullets. People usually, again, this is why I say how I did it. I had a spreadsheet that said, here's the things that I want to say. And then I had bullets next to each one. Here are the bullets that demonstrate it. And then I would pick one that's the most powerful. Rather than, because at the beginning you could write a whole bunch of stuff, but I would keep yourself focused on what are the things that I'm trying to demonstrate. Because, you're doing a pretty good job with that, but you want to say too much. And as a result, you end up diluting it. So definitely focus on that.
So actually, this is the software engineering part where I actually developed an architecture, but I had to take, trade-off decisions, which, product managers take a lot.
Yes.
So just trying to, demonstrate
Great.
that.
Look at this, cost by 40%, reducing development. Also, instead of 6 weeks, give me a percentage so that I understand what the benefit is. And then again, it sounds like that's prioritization. Now, then you're going to be in a situation where you're demonstrating one thing twice, your prioritization skills twice. Maybe that's okay. And it's a good signal that you're a good prioritizer. That's awesome. But make sure you also got the other stuff. You got end-to-end ownership, I saw. You got team management. Good. Make sure you got the other stuff as well.
Awesome.
Build a new data engineering pipeline with graph database to work on anti-money laundering and fraud detection use cases. Well, those are important use cases, but what was the result in it? Did you see it done? Was there a reduction in, some bad actors or bad behavior? What was the result of this stuff?
We basically built it and we were able to demonstrate it, not at the enterprise grade level, but definitely at the project level.
Okay, so demonstrated. So it was, what happened? You built this. Did it then go to the next stage of production?
Yeah, so the main key part where I was working on was the data engineering pipeline. So when you're working with graph databases, it's a network, right? It's not the traditional data science approach, like the cleaning and the modeling part and all of it. So the way we work with graph databases is completely different for these specific use cases. So I built the pipeline for working with the data, which is given to these two algorithms.
So it enabled the team then to work on these use cases.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's much stronger than what you have in there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know those specifics. Not everybody are going to know those specifics. Don't overestimate how much people know the specifics of your actual field. Product managers a lot of times are generalists. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff, but I don't know a lot of specifics about each themes. There's going to be people that are way better versed in every aspect, but I know enough about it to kind of just converse about it and be able to collaborate on projects like this. But that one, you're underselling the impact there. The impact was you set up the pipeline that enables to even handle these use cases, and as a result, you opened up this path for development. So that's pretty great.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Figure out a way to tell that story better. Recommendation engine, great. With a multi-site web scraper to collect content from discourse forums to improve recommendation of posts for website homepage. So how do you measure that improvement in recommendation of posts? How do you
based on the time and relevancy?
Time spent by the user?
Time spent in delivering those posts, and also time spent by the user. Yeah.
Okay, so so that's the question that I would have in there. That sounds pretty great. I like, obviously recommendation engines. So much of our work in tech is basically about making better recommendation engines. So I think anytime you have experience in that, it's going to be super helpful. But I want to understand how you're able to improve, and what does it mean to improve the recommendation of posts by 50%? I don't know what that means. It's very unclear what that means, because for me, when I think of a recommendation engine improving its result by X%, it means that users are deriving either direct utility or proxy of utility, meaning they're telling me about it, or ideally they're just they're staying more, or they are engaging with the particular content more, or whatever it is. But that's how I measure those improvements in models. Or unless you tell me the specific way that you're measuring the performance, that you're able to tell me this huge 50% jump, I'm going to be suspect of it, unless you explain it more specifically.
Yeah, I think I'll have to include a couple more points over there.
Cool. Okay, let's keep going here. Custom dashboard solutions in agile environment, working closely with risk and compliance. You got a lot of stuff about risk and compliance in here. That's good. I mean, that's really, I think, relevant nowadays. It's a lot of the trust and safety issues.
I don't know why, but all the companies I've worked for are all financial companies. So
there you go. Yeah, and that a lot of times, the focus areas that you work on will be where there'll be most interest for your candidacy, because obviously the people want related experience. So don't be surprised if you continue to stay on this path. Make sure you want to stay on this path, because the longer you stay on a certain path, the harder it is to kind of move around.
To add to that point, my response rate has been from financial companies itself. So
yes,
yeah,
that makes sense. But again, that's cool. That's great. I think there's a great future for a financial company. So as long as you're excited about that long term, I think it's an awesome place. close to the risk and compliance to capture and translate business requirements, product specifics. So again, that seems like a responsibility. The only difference from a responsibility is that you got custom dashboard solutions there. But what's the point of that? Like, you're trying to demonstrate certain data to certain users, internal users, so that they can do something, but it's very, very unclear. And it just feels like one of those very much a responsibility. Like, here are my list of responsibilities. Try to find out like the why.
Got it.
Gather client needs and pain points. Great. User empathy. Great. Yeah, we don't see that listed enough. Communicated to internal, external stakeholders, incorporating feedback report, maintaining the 98% deliverable success rate. So I like that. You're basically saying here, of the stuff that I wanted to do, I did, 98% was accepted. Is that what that's supposed to mean?
No. So every month we had to deliver these dashboard solutions, and I have maintained a 98% throughout my entire, stint with Wipro. So.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, 98% deliverable is always good, but I'm just trying to understand. So the first and second point, the dashboard, they're related, right? These needs and pain points. So you might want to combine. So in earlier, a lot of the stuff, you had multiple ideas you're trying to get across in a single point, but in a few situations, you've had multiple bullet points talking about a similar skill or point. So try to maybe combine those and separate the other ones so that you're being appropriate and not diluting the impact of every line item.
Got it. That's useful. Yeah.
So again, defined and implemented KPIs and metrics. To monitor adoption, usage, and customer satisfaction to deliver stakeholders. Okay, that's fine. I like the definition, implementation of KPIs. But what was so you're basically saying, identify these important things for us to know, and I made sure that the key stakeholders are always informed of them. It would be great to go another step and say, like, as a result of that, what did we choose the specific products to work on, or did we respond more quicker? Like, what happened as a result of that? I think it's important. Maybe say it shorter and also add like why this was important. And achieved, 20% performance enhancement on dashboard solutions, centralized analytical ad hoc reporting. How did you achieve this performance enhancement? What does that mean? Does that mean load times, or?
This was the SQL queries which I optimized.
So they ended up effectively processing faster?
Yeah. Both ETL and the dashboard processing time. Yeah.
I mean, as someone who suffers from a lot of really long processing time dashboard, I can tell you, yeah, that's pretty important. Those dashboards can be very frustrating. But just make sure that it's clear how you did it and that's what actually happened.
Okay.
Samsung, good. Samsung is one of those, right? Like more well-known names, so that's good to have it on the resume. As a product intern in Bixby, I remember Bixby. Is that still alive? That's still a thing, right?
Samsung, it's still there, yeah.
They're not going to give up, no. Conducted user research and synthesized findings to present strategic recommendations to senior leadership, leading to several being incorporated in the Samsung Android One UI operating system. I got to think about that one. It feels like, again, too much stuff in one bullet. Mm-hmm. One aspect that's important there is that stuff that you worked on ended up being approved. And I think as a product intern, that's as powerful as a signal as you can get. Stuff that you worked on and pushed ended up being approved. And you want to demonstrate that. The other stuff is less important to say. The fact that you conducted user research and synthesized findings, like, you probably have already said it elsewhere, and I understand that that's what you did, but the key point there is that as a product intern, you came in, had some stuff that you wanted to work on, and it was approved. It was taken on. So that's a good point. Develop data sets with a whole bunch of queries, mapped applications for the digital system, deploying subject. again, that's a little bit of a non sequitur. I don't know what to do with that. Like you developed a bunch of queries, but what was the why? What's the impact? Because this thing is like, I mean, seriously, tell me if you know. Tell me.
Yeah, so the way Bixby was getting developed was every command would be a query. So we had to physically write all these queries for each and every application.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it was almost like 20 applications, and that's the number. Like it was actually like 6,000 or something, but yeah. So that's how we built it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering what happened then.
Yeah, all of those queries are there in the
They're
system
still
right
there.
now.
Okay, so that's good. Maybe you could just translate like how did Bixby become better for users as a result of this?
Okay.
Think about it, because that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so how did Bixby become better? And if you can have impact or proxy metrics, that would be super, super helpful in the situation.
So what proxy metric can I use? Because that's where I need your help.
Yeah, once you figure out like, well, how did it become better?
Okay. I mean, this was the initial development phase. So I've never been part of products which are released. It's always, it's been in the development phase, and I've completed with the MVP.
Yeah.
So,
well, what happened as a result? Like, what was the intention there? What was it supposed to enable?
so it's supposed to enable, the queries to be, basically it had to work with those applications.
Like what? Give me some examples.
So for example, if you would open to gallery, if you wanted to use the Bixby voice app to open the gallery, those queries had to be written. And I enabled the applications to work with Bixby.
So in other words, for Bixby to open it, the user would say some stuff like open gallery or Bixby open gallery or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't work unless you actually linked the gallery application.
Yeah, you have to physically code it out, the queries. So there's a lot of manual effort for each and every feature of each and every app.
Okay. Sorry that I was zooming in on this. Obviously, we're toward the end of the resume. You had a lot more powerful stuff. I'm just wondering, things like this, where I would say that you effectively enabled, end user interaction with multitude of applications by developing queries for Bixby. So you actually enabled end user. You effectively enabled the product. You enabled Bixby to actually work. So I would say that you played a key role in connecting those applications to the Bixby ecosystem, something like that.
Got it. That's awesome.
It's just something like that in this situation, right?
Yeah.
And then
I'll figure it out. Yeah.
What's that?
I'll figure it out. Like now that you've given me action, I'll figure it out.
That sounds good. Okay, and then agile rituals. I like it. Rituals. Praying to the agile god via daily stand-ups and grooming, planning. That's good. Build internal documentation, supporting materials, marketing, collateral. So that's fine. So then you're getting into really like, again, responsibilities, like things you did, which is fine towards like the tail end of the resume. I think if you want to fill in a few of the blanks, like, okay, here's some stuff that product managers should do. And like, let me put it in here if you didn't catch it up top. So I think that's fine. And then you got a bunch of skills. But I think do you have skills up top? Can you bring us back to the top of the resume?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't? Okay, great. So you got skills at the bottom. Yeah, so I think pretty good. I think the key takeaway are the stuff that we talked about, which is, you tease apart the ones that you bundled and remove the duplicates in the ones that you have appearing multiple times.
Awesome. I'll definitely work on it. I wanted to ask you one question. Is the projects what we do? For example, I have a project data informed growth where I go through the customer lifetime value, churn rate, and all of that. Are these kind of projects necessary on the resume?
I think it's anything that had an impact is is interesting. That's interesting to me. That sounds interesting. Like thinking about LTV and all that stuff. I think if you can find a way to to tie it around it, could be powerful. I mean, we didn't see it. So I don't know. But again, go through the stuff that you're demonstrating and see, okay, am I saying this other stuff in any other way? And we talked about it, like you have several things that are saying the same thing, and then you have others that are saying all in one. If you have, usually you don't want to like overdo it on the same thing that you're trying to demonstrate. If you're trying to demonstrate, your analytical process, if you've demonstrated it once, you may not want to do it again. But PMs, they do have to be well-rounded, and everything has to be with impact. So stuff this, like, you can't just say I bring alignment to multiple stakeholders. You need to say, okay, how have you brought alignment in a way that it's had impact? It's a little bit difficult for product managers.
Awesome. Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Super useful.
For your patience. Yeah, absolutely. Glad to have you around. Please, as always, keep me updated with your progress.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks a lot.
For your time. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Okay, folks, I'm getting pretty tired, I'll tell you. So we probably will. I think we have Jeffrey, who I've not spoken with yet. So maybe Jeffrey, if you will take, first of all, as always, we roll the dice. So let me bring you on here. And I feel like I can hear you already.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Can you see me? Sorry. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for your patience. So I think everybody else that I have in staging, I've spoken to, except for you, and I'm very tired. I got to go, but I want to definitely say a big thanks for your patience, and let's see if we can quickly get through your resume. Give us a few words, introduction, and tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a new grad. So I graduated in May 2020, and I actually I'm looking to get into product management. So I'm new to all of this different stuff. I self-designed my major, so I'm a technology and digital media major, and yeah, I'm just really excited to see what the product world has.
Sweet, that's awesome. All right, I like it. Let's see if you can share your resume. We'll take a look at what you've got now.
All right. Can you see that?
All right, I see it. Look at that. By the end of the stream, we got everything working. This is amazing. Hang on a second. Oops. Let me bring you back. I took you out.
All right.
For a second. All right, let's do it like this and like that. Sergey, I said, thanks for the investment of your personal time. Yeah, it's my pleasure, Sergey. You know this is what we do out here. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. We'll wrap it up pretty soon. Okay, so Jeffrey, so I see your resume. Let me put it on the top.
Okay.
My kid just came up and just took my water bottle. That's fine. Just grab my water. All right. Okay, so Jeffrey, let's look at it. So we got education, we've got skills. Usually I say put those on the bottom. You probably heard me talk about it. Like there's no real benefit to putting it on the top. I don't really see anything here that's like that needs to be up top. It's rather let's instead put your actual experience. Let's talk about like the stuff that you've done. Let's go ahead and scroll down. Founder and host, All Things Product. What? You're the founder and host of All Things Product, the web series? Let's find out what's going on over here. So what is this? Is this a video? Is this a site? What is this?
Yeah, so it's a web series on both LinkedIn and YouTube. So I founded this, May 2020, and basically it's supposed to talk about different growth strategies that we've seen popular tech companies and also popular like tech influencers use to grow their brands. And that's what I've been doing videos on YouTube, and I've been posting content on LinkedIn pretty regularly.
Jeffrey, well, why don't you drop some links or something so that folks can go and join.
Yes.
Look at your product. Maybe you could just type in the chat.
Okay, I will do that.
Sure you check out Jeffrey's web series. I haven't checked it out yet, so I definitely will do that after this. Maybe after taking a little break. All right, so now this is good. Increased growth of web series, less than 3 months. Great. Instagram, look at those massive numbers. YouTube subscribers 600%. All right. I hope those are like low numbers at the beginning. Otherwise, how did you get 600%? I want to know how to do that. I'm trying to get, to just to smash the like button. But anyway, we're going to talk about that separately. Research market trends, determine optimal content offerings, identify 5 advantageous businesses. I would say like researching marketing trends, like when you're growing a product on your own, it's sort of obvious you're going to be researching this stuff. And the fact that you identified these business insights, I want to see it in your results, right? I don't so much want to know that you identified them as I want to see the results of what it means that you've identified them. Right. So I want to know, okay, so as a result, like you told me, you've increased your subscribers. That's good enough, right? I know that that's what you did. So this is one of those things where either you're trying to tell me, okay, you're good at doing research or identifying market trends or interviewing users or whatever it is. Tell me how you did that and then tell me the result. I think you already told me the result up top. So you might want to tell me how you did that. Conduct target market research using data analytics, weekly, monthly, and user feedback to increase video traffic, relevance, content. Okay, that's also kind of same camp, right? Show me, why you're doing it, what you're doing, and what the results are. Let's keep going. Collaborated with multidisciplinary teams across 3 time zones to create pitch presentations. Okay, that's good. So you're demonstrating you can collaborate remotely, which pretty much everybody is doing at this point. I think you kind of have to figure out. I like the calling out of 3 time zones. That's pretty interesting. To create pitch presentations. I wonder though if that's going to be the most impactful bullet, because you want to lead usually with your most impactful bullets. Because after that, like immediately I'm thinking, okay, so but what happened with those pitch presentations? Were they effective? Like the fact that you were collaborating well, I will know if the pitch results were actually effective. I won't know. Like to me, the product of your effort is not the fact that you worked across 3 time zones. It's the fact that you worked across 3 time zones to produce a pitch that was effective and impactful. We've got to get into this like impact mindset, which I find that's why I keep repeating impact so often. I wonder how many times I said impact today. Probably like 400. And people have difficulty with like switching into that impact mindset, but it's very important, especially for product managers, because that's all it is. Doesn't matter what you did, it only matters what happened as a result. And by the way, failure is fine as long as you learn from the failure and you took the right steps, and it's okay to fail. But over a long career, we want to see the impact of your actions being obviously positive as much as possible. So, and the second point is pitch new product feature accepted by the CEO. That's strong, right? You're driving alignment. To provide career development resources for 700 students in VIP cohort. So in that line item, it's kind of similar to what we were just talking about in the previous conversation. You're already telling me that you pitched a product feature that was accepted by the CEO. So the point you're demonstrating there is you can get stakeholder alignment. Now, talking about the fact that there's 700 students in there is already less powerful, because look, you drove alignment directly from the CEO. That's the strong thing you're trying to tell me. Talk to me about this feature about 700 students later on. Maybe it's not as important here. Or maybe you want to just quickly say, like, here's the feature, but the most important thing is that I delivered this to the CEO directly, and the CEO, I got bought in from the CEO. I got buy-in from the CEO.
Okay.
Analyze business case study using market research data to draw conclusions regarding product market fit. Well, I would be more interested to understand what are these conclusions regarding product market fit. What happened as a result? Like, what was the point? Why were you analyzing this business case study? Are you trying to say whether we have product market fit or not? Or did you determine that we don't have it? Like, what was the result? Why did you do this? Why is it important? Provided consultation, communicated strategies for community building, customer acquisition to CEO. I think you've already mentioned the CEO. I don't think you want to mention it twice, because now it's starting to sound like the CEO is very accessible. It's actually diluting the impact of your first point, which is that you got buy-in from the CEO. Now I'm starting to think maybe CEO is a buddy of yours or something like that. We don't want to go down that route, right? So like you demonstrated that. Now let's talk about other stuff. Conducted user research, focus group to determine user needs and document experience to improve upkeep platform. So and anytime you find yourself listing responsibilities, again, we talked about this, is when you want to get more specific about why or what happened. So I'm already seeing a few times you mentioned that you're conducting research, you're talking to users. The point you drive in there is you have a lot of user empathy. Awesome. But show it to me. Show me the results of this user empathy. You know how to listen to them, so you know how to pick the right features or prioritize or whatever it is.
Okay. Yes.
Let's take a look at that next one as well, because created successful Black History Month social media campaign, recognized managing director of partnership. Okay, good. Contributed the growth of company Twitter and Instagram. Twitter account, okay, good. Increase in profile, increase in mentions, 47 new followers. Okay, good. Now, by the way, when you're talking about these big percentage increases, but then only 47 new followers, I would rather show me maybe percentage. If you're talking about percentages, tell me 47 is how many percent. So just be consistent in usage of relative. Propose and launch company Pinterest. Best practice. Again, anytime you say stuff like, okay, I'm staying up to date on best practices, just remember my voice in your head. Okay, you're staying up to date on this, but why are you doing it and what happened as a result? And it's okay, by the way, sometimes, again, as a result of these experiments, we're going to find that, yeah, a lot of times we ended up working on stuff that was not as impactful or maybe wasn't as important. Let that be a good learning experience for the future, so that when you take stuff on, you understand why you're doing it, what you're trying to drive. You understand your success metrics. You're always thinking about that, right? You're optimizing your time. For instance, I really wanted 50 likes. I got 47 likes, 3 likes away. I know there's going to be folks that are going to be watching this video later, and they're going to get me to that 50 likes. Just 3 more likes. It's going to be very close. So, proposed and launch company Pinterest. We went through scheduled weekly social media campaigns using Buffer, analyzing traffic engagement to ensure effectiveness. Well, how did you ensure effectiveness, or how effective was it? Tell me that rather than the stuff that you like, your intent. Tell me the result.
Okay.
Identify organize 50 sources of funding. That's good. That's good. And I would even put that up top a little bit because that seems powerful. Practice agile, implemented OKR strategies. It would be great if you can also tell me what was the result of your implementation of OKRs. Was that a smooth transition? Did you drive more productivity or more results from internal or external stakeholders? Tech instructor, that's good. Web developer, good. So we need, overall, I definitely like this. You've got a lot of different types of experience. I think that could be well leveraged as a product manager. Let me put this away, put you back on the screen. So here's what I would say. I think you've got a lot of raw material. Jeffrey, you got a lot of raw material to work with. I think you do need to do that exercise of watching the videos where I talk about the top things you want to demonstrate for product management, and just give yourself that spreadsheet, that checklist, and say, just be honest. What am I saying? Because there's a lot of stuff where you're talking about basically the philosophy of product management, where you're talking with customers, you're doing market research. That's awesome. But be honest with yourself, how much of the stuff are you actually, of the product management skills, different product management skills, are you actually demonstrating with impact in the resume? And if you see it's missing, fill in the blanks. Make sense?
Yeah, that's one thing that I would absolutely, yeah. Thank you for all of it. I took lots of different comments. That's one thing I wanted to demonstrate because I don't have a lot of formal experience with this, but I was wondering how to leverage the experience that I do have already. So I was trying to put a lot of numbers and statistics and things like that. Would you have any recommendations as to how I can leverage my limited experience as a recent graduate to convey that more?
I think you're on the right track. Yeah, I think you're on the right track. You're building your own stuff. You're launching your own programs. I think that's powerful. You get a chance to see if you can move the metrics on that one. I think just be specific about the things that you're trying to demonstrate. I see that you're using numbers and you're going in the right direction, but I don't know that you've done the exercise of actually writing down, here are the 10 skills. Here's how I'm demonstrating it. And actually looking at your educational career as your career, at all the stuff that you've done, and all your design and teaching and all that stuff, and seeing what aspects were already there. Like from the teaching, there's leadership. There is structure and organization there, because what are you teaching? How are you teaching? There is communication and collaboration, and then you're working with different types of people. So when you go through those skills and activities you want to demonstrate, you can, again, the way that I would do it is you just write, okay, this is the attribute I want to demonstrate. Now, what can I leverage from all of my different things that I've done in my life that are similar to that? And then try to build that out. I think it's going to be an iterative process. It also took me kind of a long time to do the same thing kind of for my resume. But I think the way when you then identify, okay, look, I don't have some of the stuff. Like I just can't find stuff that I've done. Or then think about, okay, what could I do now? Like who can I join? Which groups can I join? What stuff can I build that actually will give me that piece of experience that I can demonstrate, and just start to basically manifest that, start to implement that. So it's okay for you not to have all this stuff. But and if it takes you a couple months to do it, that's okay, because job search also takes some time. You'll do two things in parallel, which I always recommend doing, and I think it's going to be beneficial overall.
Because one thing I wanted to tell you is that, okay, if I'm working on something like, for instance, if I'm working on like launching like a business, right? If I'm working on that in the background, but it's not yet launched, I can't really list that on my resume just yet because we haven't had impact. Is there any way I can bring in things that I'm doing like behind the scenes to showcase that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I would, first of all, launch as soon as possible. Even if you have like one customer and it's yourself, that's fine too. So launch as soon as possible so you don't delay that as well. And I think you can certainly mention it is much less powerful when it has not been launched. It's sort of not real until you just make a website and at least just, okay, it's open now. And based on like your social media presence, I'm sure you can get customers or users that use the product or whatever your service for free, and you can start to get a little bit, and then that's it. Then now you're operational, and now you can leverage the sort of the benefit of that right on your resume.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm also putting the link to my channel in the comments so you can do that out.
Yeah, and send it to me also on LinkedIn. I'll put it in the description when the video actually comes out, so folks can jump on, and I'll check it out as well. Send it to me on LinkedIn so I can check it out. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alex. All right, Jeffrey, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Thanks for your patience for joining us. Bye-bye. All right. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us today. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when all the new content is posted. Also, subscribe to my newsletter at alexruchevsky.com. I'm going to talk about all the shows and all the stuff that we're doing in the future. And I do also have, I forgot to pitch this thing, but you probably have seen it on my LinkedIn. We're going to be doing another show with John Marty and Tim Salau, I believe next Saturday at 6 o'clock Pacific. So make sure to join us there. I'm going to drop the links in the description, and you can find it on my LinkedIn as well. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.